Therapy Army. I hope you can hear me. Welcome to United Real Therapy. What can we say? What can we say about that, people? No shock, not surprised. 1 second. Please let me know if you can hear me and I'm live. Am I live? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Am I live? Big up to everybody. Love and like. We've got lots of things to discuss tonight. Match reaction. Manchester United got schooled. Got taken to school. We got schooled, and it is what it is. Manchester United got schooled, and there's nothing wrong with losing. So first of all, I like to say big up Unana, man of the match, by an absolute mile. It could have been 6 or 7, and I will not be talking this calmly. Obviously, I've got a cold, I've got a sore throat, got broken ribs. It is what it is, people. But yeah, I can't really get overexcited or do anything. But big up Unana. We predicted it. I predicted it yesterday. Not yesterday, on Thursday, was it, or Friday? We talked about it here on Friday. We did a match, I think, on Friday. And we talked about it. So lots of things to discuss about today's game. Hopefully we can find some solutions, because obviously everybody's hot-headed. And if you're going berserk, if you're going crazy, then yeah, I can't help you, because you've not been watching, you've not been paying attention. I'm going to read you my tweet that I did before the game. I'm going to read that to you. So this is what I tweeted earlier today, before the game. And what I tweeted was that I said, looking at the lineups, I expect Man UFC to get beat comfortably today. I don't watch City, but their attack will have too much for us, for that defense. For us to get something out of the game, Unana has to be the man of the match. I don't know how we are going to score. So that's what I put. That's what I wrote before the game. That was what I wrote. I went with that, what I wrote before the game. So just big up, Tom. Welcome. Hope it's not too cold in those 7 hills. I hope you're well. So today we're going to talk about, we predicted this, so nobody should be shocked. Sacking Eric Tenhag, it's not going to fix it, but that team selection was dreadful. Thank you, Unana, for the saves. And then we go Glazers full sail, only Radcliffe, the Radcliffe out. That's what we're going with. So big up to Tom. Tom, how are you? I hope you're well.
Yeah, big up Therapy Army as always. And yourself, Nuruddin, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got broken ribs. I've got a terrible cold.
Yeah, I'm sending you love, brother. Send you love.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm good. I'm good because I'm chilled. I'm not going crazy. I'm not that crazy because I knew this was coming. I knew a footballing lesson was coming. I just read out the tweet that I tweeted, Tom, before the game. I said, looking at that lineup, that's what I put. Looking at the lineup, I expect Man United to get beat comfortably today. I don't watch City, but their attack will have too much for our defence. For us to get something out of the game, Unana has to be man of the match. That's the only bit I got wrong. For us not to concede 7, Unana had to be man of the match. I don't know how we're going to score. So that was I knew this fluky stuff with McTominay wasn't going to work, because that's going to dry up. That's not always going to work. So I was content with what's going on, and I was quite happy. So in terms of what we saw a football education, but we've got big topics to discuss tonight. One of them is the solution. How are we going to solve this? I've got at least one idea of a solution, but the fan base are not going to be here for it, because the fan base think we're that football club. We're not that football club. So you give manager 2 years, you get out of the Aldi Cup, he goes and you give him the time to improve players and buy players that's fit into a certain system. Unfortunately, Eric Tenhag has abandoned. I just saw a quote. From him when he was at Ajax, and I think they were going to play Liverpool, and he said, "We're going to play our way. Of course, we expect Liverpool to be high pressing, high octane, but we're not going to abandon our philosophy and our principles. So he has furthered away from that, and he is somebody. Big up Jarvis with all these quirky gadgets. I see you, Jarvis. I see you.
Hey, big up.
Big up there. So this is what he said. Like he's gone away from that type of principle, and also the fan base would have had to take the pain and would have had to accept it. But I genuinely do think Erik Tenhag is Erik Tenhag out now, especially with the team selection. But one thing for me, that solution is we give a manager 2 years, we get out we get out Europa League, we make sure we're not in the Champions League, and then what do? We give him 2 years to work, get out of the FA Cup, get out of the League Cup, and give him from week to week where the manager's drilling certain aspects throughout the season and not just in pre-season. But the fan base are not ready for that because the fan base think we're that football club. But we'll come to that. In terms of, Tom, I'll start with you. In terms of the lineup before the game, what did you think of the lineup?
I didn't understand it, if I'm being honest with you. He said in the interview with Varane that it was tactical to play Lindelof in there. I didn't really understand the thought process behind it because I think the last couple of Manchester derbies that Varane's played in, barring the 6-3 game, I think he'd done pretty well in a lot of the games that he's played when he'd been fit. He locked down Haaland at Old Trafford last season and they had the games. So I felt like really when we looked at tactically, I couldn't see how it would work. You've got Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire playing stonewall centre halves. None of them are mobile to follow Haaland's runs, as we saw for a lot of the game. And, the directness of some of the more technically gifted players, like Foden and Bernardo Silva, when I knew those two were going to be major impactful in the game, I thought it's going to be a long day because we don't have the defenders or the mobility to keep up with these players and the actual intricacy that they play with the passes. They play 3 passes within 2 seconds, and you don't know where the ball's gone. That is how Manchester City are that good with the ball. In comparison to us, we're shocking with the ball, and we're shocking without the ball because as a defensive setup, we don't control the actual defensive line. If we were going to play a style of football, Nuruddin, where it was low block, I can accept it because at the end of the day, that's the style of football that we're playing. We're playing low block football. But we haven't got that. We haven't got a style of play. We haven't got this identity. And this myth that everybody had about last season that...
Tom, what about those that will say we've got a style of play, it's winning the ball up the pitch, but the strikers and the attackers don't convert? What about people that say that? What would you say to them?
Well, name me what the style of play is then, please. That's what I'd say to them. Name me the clear style of play.
High pressing up the pitch and winning the ball back. And today, actually, it showed that we won the ball a couple of times, but either McTominay didn't slip the players in, Højlund took time again to not slip the player in, and it was McTominay again twice, I think, that didn't, and Rashford, he didn't make the right decisions. So players are not making it, but we're winning the ball up the pitch. We're number one winning the ball, up the pitch, like pressing.
That's fine.
One thing we don't have, Liverpool used to do that. Liverpool used to have the gegenpress as a number 10. But Liverpool, what they used to do is every player on that football pitch would also work really extremely hard. We don't do that. But go ahead quickly, please.
Yeah. Well, like you say, pressing and winning the ball high up, that's fine. But as soon as we get the ball, we don't know what to do with it. That's the problem. It's almost as if we've just run out of ideas. Pressing from the front, I'd say probably 18 out of the 20 teams in the Premier League press from the front. There's maybe only 2 that I can think of out of Luton and Sheffield United that just sit in the low block and compact. That's it. The rest of the teams in the Premier League, they press, but it depends on the intensity of it. But you can win the ball high up in the attacking third, Nuruddin, but if you're not going to have forwards that are intricate and actually understand each other's games, it's not going to work. And at the end of the day, there's some of these players who, I said as soon as we brought in someone like a proper number 9 like Højlund, I didn't see how Rashford was going to work well with a number 9. I thought Anthony, maybe Sancho, if the incident that's happened, maybe would have been able to build a partnership because they're more creative-minded players. Whereas I look at Marcus Rashford, And I just think it's direct cut inside and score into the top corner. And it's predictable. That's the problem with us. But ultimately and overall, like I said it before a couple of weeks ago when we were discussing one of the games, again with a shocking performance-wise, even though we got a result, I said Copenhagen, I wouldn't write them off in the game because at the end of the day, Copenhagen will be a team. They'll come with a clear game plan. We don't come with a game plan, guys. I don't even know. We just rock up and, like Nuruddin said, rock up, press from the front and hope for the best. That's it. But pressing, I always associate it anyway, unless you use it for 90 minutes, pressing's a tactic. It's not a style of play. In the same way that I've always said counter-attack. Counter-attack is not a style of play, it's a tactic. You use it as an in-game management when you win the ball. But when we have the ball, we don't do anything with it, guys. So pressing from the front and winning it in the opposition half, that's fine, all well and good. But what are we going to do when we have the ball? Nothing. We're not impactful. We don't have players that are impacting games. And well, all I can say for it once again is the big players who everybody, hyped up about last season, about, oh, well, they fired us to third place and they won us a Carabao Cup and we got to the FA Cup final. Where the fuck are these players this season? Let's be honest, where are they? I've not seen
fatigue,
Bruno
FC, fatigue. I could have said the same about Liverpool players.
No.
Last season, they were fatigued.
Pull them out of the firing line. If they're fatigued,
well, he won't do it. He won't do it. He won't do it. He refuses to do it. That's why I think he wants to sack himself. He's sacking himself generally. But listen, guys, there's 5 of us in here tonight. Tom, there's 5 of us in here tonight. We want to get everybody an equal go. And I need to not speak too much. So we'll go around. So that's everybody understood how you're feeling, especially about the players, especially about the style of play. So we'll go around again. So we'll go to Jarvis, Bombay, then Mundo. And please keep your answers short and succinct, please. So we can go around because many topics to discuss. Big up everybody in the chat. Right. Love and like. Smash a like on the video. This channel has been shadow banned. And that means that we're not getting... we've been demonetized and everything else that comes with it. So because we refused to succumb to the silencing and watch a genocide. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Peace, love, light, always, people. Stop the genocide, end the occupation, and free Palestine. Go ahead, Jarvis.
Yeah, I know you said we are covering a lot of topics tonight, so I'm not sure where to begin, but I will begin on the root of all evil as I see it at the moment. I'm not Ten Hag out, but I'm claiming that his arrogance is going to be his downfall, because you all heard about the definition of, I don't know, stupidity. It's like repeating the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. And Ten Hag in his team selection and how he implements his style and tactic in this team, he consistently wants to play Bruno. He wants to play Rashford. He wants to play Garnacho. Rashford. He wants to play Lindelof. He wants to play Maguire. It's the usual suspects, the ones who've been here for so many years. They have thrown manager after manager under the bus. And now Ten Hag is falling into the same trap. So I would say for Ten Hag, if he wants to fix this, if he really wants to be the manager at the end of the season, he has to do something. And he calls for action, and the action needs to start now in the Newcastle game. He needs to be ruthless. He needs to bench Bruno. He needs to bench Rashford, set an example. He can play the youth or anyone else, but not them two, because they are letting us down game after game. So for me, I expect that Ten Hag will improve his selection from now on. So that's my 2 cents. Mundo, you're next.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm not going to call for Ten Hag out, but the writing's on the wall for me for Ten Hag. I think I was having this conversation with someone earlier about examples across the league where you see in other managers that are new to the league. Some have had previous experience in the league, but they haven't been with their clubs as long as Ten Hag has been with Man United. And they see how they play football. They have a clear identity. and they play football a certain way. Now, someone correct me, I might be wrong here, but I'm yet to see a manager 18 months into his tenure dramatically switch the way a team plays. I've not seen that. What he should have done is when he joined the football club, he should have, if he had a way of playing, he had principles, you live and die by that sword from day one, right? And because he made so many concessions, this is the situation he finds himself in. And this group of players will always throw the manager under the bus. When going gets tough, they shrink, they hide, they throw the manager under the bus. And he spent £400 million and he doesn't even trust the players that he's bought. Why have you bought a £90 million winger, a £60 million midfielder, and your starting 11 has got Lindelof at left back? You've got Reguilon on loan as well, I should add. You've got Lindelof at left back. You've got Eriksen, who we know's got no legs, against the Manchester City team who keep that ball moving constantly, and you expect him to get around the pitch and close the space, and you know he's got no legs. You've got McTominay playing as a number 10 when you've got your number 10 on the right wing, and you've got a guy that you've just spent £60 million on who apparently can play in an 8 and a 10 on the bench. You've got Varane, a World Cup. I don't care if he's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to be in a team, right? And you went and chose to play a centre-half pairing of Maguire and Evans against the best number 9 in the world. I'm done with this guy. I have to be honest. I don't want to say the words, but what I'm seeing is a manager who has never been in this situation.
Do you think he wants to sack himself? Do you genuinely think that? Because he's coming out like a manager, like all managers, when it hits the minute it hits them. Manchester United do it to you, don't they? He's coming out like a manager, like a rabbit in the headlights. He's coming out. He's saying we played well. 3 times that we've played City this season, we played well.
I don't know what he's watching. Manchester United have played 14 games this season across all competitions, and they've not played. They've played, I'd say, and that was kick and rush, headless football anyway. And when they came back from 2-0 down against Nottingham Forest, that's the only time when we've seen a semblance of any type of football. But other than that, Manchester United have been second best in every single game, but for a last-minute save against Copenhagen, we'd be having an even different conversation right now, right? We'd probably be saying right now, Tenhag, get out. And the thing is, I can take defeat. Defeat is not the issue here. The issue is, and we all said this, I'm pretty certain we said this on this show last season, we were willing to accept the standard of football last season and being on the end of some bad results if it meant this season we would make some progress. And we're already a quarter of the way through the season, and we're seeing garbage. And this is not garbage we've just been seeing this season. We've been garbage since even in the Carabao Cup final we were garbage, but just 2 individual moments of brilliance because Newcastle were a better team. We have been poor since February. We've been poor since February, and that downward spiral has continued into this season, and it's getting worse. So anyone who's thinking he's going to turn it around, not by making the decisions he made today, that's not showing me signs of a manager who is, and this is not me doubting his credentials, he might go somewhere else and do well. But in terms of the Manchester United situation we're in at the moment, in the club, the state of flux, I think that it's too big for him. I just think that he's been engulfed by whatever's going on at the club, and he's departed from what made him a good manager in the first place. And he's got himself embroiled in stuff that he shouldn't have done. He should just concentrate on coaching the team, getting the team to play certain structure, certain football. And I think that I've said this before, he's bitten off more than he can chew. He's tried to control too many elements of the football club. He should just concentrate on getting the team playing a certain way, because then the fans will buy into it. They'll back you. But we can't back this garbage. I'm sorry. I can't back this garbage. I'd be surprised if he makes it beyond Christmas, because we've got Newcastle on Wednesday and Fulham on Saturday. 2 massive games.
Got Mundo, big up. Listen, let me just get some of these super chats and some really important chats. Big up to everybody. There's 230 of you in here. Please smash a like on the video, like I said. Twitter shadow banned, Facebook shadow banned, YouTube's shadow banned. You're part of the rebels, rebel HQ people, the rebels, the human people who see humanity. That's what you're part of, people. So we're happy to be part of that. I'm sure all of you here are watching as well. So the least you could do, smash a like on the video. Get the algorithms up at least. Let the algorithms fight the shadow banning. That's all we can do. And obviously YouTube's been having a lot of problems. Big up Jarvis for letting me know that today. So yeah, I'm sorry if the broadcast is not as good as quality as it usually is. But let me just get to this couple of super chats. Big up Alien Tenor. He says Erik Tenhag is getting his clown outfit tomorrow. Right, that means he's gonna go. He's gonna go. Let me get to Mufc TV. Big up Mufc TV. He says we will sack Erik Tenhag by Xmas. Players will perform and go on a winning run until March, then go back being shit. Bigger problems than just a manager. Yeah. First, also we'd like to wish Luis Diaz well at this difficult time for his family. Obviously, his parents have been kidnapped in Colombia. Yeah, his mother's been returned, but let's hope that his father returned safely as well. It's crazy what's going on in all different parts of the world. I just want to go to Natalie. Natalie says here, you know the type of owners you have. The only way to face that finals cost money involved. You don't see them nowhere for the memorial of the disaster. Until we're rid of them, we will stay rotten. Stephanie says, pick up therapy army. Well, the miracle didn't happen. 8 versus 11 ain't easy, especially against team like City. Invisible imposters Bruno, Rashford, Scott should be nowhere near this team. IMO. Right. Bumbaye, go to you. How you doing? First of all, hope you're well. But we predicted this. Nobody's shocked. Nobody should be going crazy or throwing hissy fit tonight. We predicted this. Our eyes don't lie to us. Like I said to you, go and check out my tweet at that guy Red Devil. I literally tweeted it out. I said, from the lineup, I expect City to beat us comfortably today. And the only thing that I got wrong in that tweet was saying that for us to get anything out of the game, Unana's got to be man of the match. But actually, it was the other way around. It was actually, I was right, but I was wrong that we didn't get 7 or 6 because of Unana. But go ahead, Mumbai, talk to me.
Ooh, wah, wah, wah. The no good, the downright bad, and the severely ugly. Schooled, bullied, slapped around. What a Bernardo Silva. An absolute pleasure to watch football like that today. Big up Man City. You entertained me, man. You really did. You know what? May he rest in peace. At least Sir Bobby Charlton doesn't have to watch this shit anymore. That's the only positive I'll say about that. Did I expect anything? No. I went, just for the camaraderie. I thought we were going to get a clipping. That's the truth. But I like to, end it on a positive when we did this show. We have 3 very good chances, but we can't finish our dinner. If you can't do anything, even muster a reasonable shot on goal after those 3 chances, this is Manchester City, man. You're not going to get many of those, especially the way we play. It's just a sham, really, guys. And first and foremost, at this very moment, with everything that's going on in the world, I'm even more aggrieved at the ownership that I have because of what they represent and what they stand for outside of football. And their presence in the club makes the ever persistent dark cloud that has loomed over this club for so many years even darker now. They need to go. Their time is over. I'm sat here again now talking about a manager that is a good manager. He's here on merit. We thought we'd sign the next big thing. He's going to be thrown onto the scrap heap with Van Gaal, with Mourinho, with Moyes, with Ole. Ralph Ranick didn't want to stay. You know, I want to big up Eske. He makes some good points, but I just don't see anybody that's going to come into this club and actually give us what we want. We kill players. Mason Mount is a top player for me. Just add him to the Sanchez, add him to the Pogba, add him to the Lukaku. Who else have we had? We've had so many. They're all failing. Everybody. Sancho, Jadon Sancho, top European assists before he came to the club. They're raving about him. Another failure. Anthony failing. Maguire failed, conclusively failed. There's something wrong with this picture, guys. It can't be that all the players that we have are shit. It can't be that all these managers are no good. It's not going to change until this family, this ownership, understands it has outstayed its welcome. It's outstayed its use. They are of no use anymore. In footballing terms, there will be nothing that we can actually grab onto and start to say, hey, we see consistency. We see positive vibes. We see a family again. This is a team that's not a family, man. This is a team that's a broken home. That's what this is. Doesn't matter if you have Messi and Ronaldo in their prime. You can't win nothing. You can't do nothing if there's no family unity. It's called Manchester United. This place is just disjointed at the moment. Onana is not very good, although he did some good things today. We've got injuries, okay, but do I expect, even with Varane and Martinez and Casemiro, we've seen them play against City. There isn't a style of play there. If the manager wants to persist with, okay, everybody seems to, every week it's Bruno and Rashford. He's bigger than Bruno and Rashford. Rashford today, for me, worked his balls off. But it's frustrating when you don't see the ball, you don't get the ball. He makes some runs, he didn't get the ball. We didn't have the ball to even play. You know, Amrabat is okay. He's okay. He's not a bad player. He's okay. I don't think this is Manchester United quality personally, but you know, we go with it. Maguire, Lindelof at left back, you know, Anthony. The whole thing's a mess. The whole thing's a mess, and unfortunately, the manager's going to get it in the neck. Now, for me, I don't want to win a Premier League. God forbid I'm even going to put that kind of pressure on this team. I don't want to win anything. Top four would be nice, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I looked at the table today, it's shocking. We're in a deficit of goals. We concede every single game. I don't know what the style of play is. I don't actually understand what we are supposed to be trying to do. I don't get it. And I'm just going into every game. I'm not sure what I'm going to get. I don't know. Am I going to get United? Am I going to get something shit? I don't know. I just feel this. There has been some bad decisions made by Erik Ten Hag. Some of the signings, maybe he's gone against his principles of play, and now he's telling us that I don't have the material to play the way I want to play. Have you bought material to play that you want to play? We've bought Onana. I don't see nothing's changing really. Nothing's improving. You know, we got Mason Mount. I like Mason Mount, but you tell me why you bought him though. I want to know why you bought him. You bought Anthony. He's all right. He's not done too badly. But what are you buying them for? What are we supposed to be getting when you buy them? Do you understand what I mean? If you buy something for a business, you tell me I'm buying this because it will allow the manufacturing process to be a little bit more efficient or faster or better. What are we buying these players for? Have you got all the signings wrong? Why isn't anything improving? We're getting worse. We're getting worse. And this is not just at the start. Forget the start of the season. We have been saying since, last year, we accept the football has died. Let's just get results and get over the line. Man, I don't know what to tell you, but today wasn't surprising. But
Back
it was
to life, back to reality.
Yeah, that's it. Back to life, back to reality, bro.
Back
Yeah,
to life, back to reality.
That's me done.
Listen, let me go back to Tom. Big up, Tom. Big up to everybody in the chat. like I said, over 260 of you in here. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and everybody who's Erik ten Hag out, give me your quick solutions in it. Give me your proper solutions. Give me your solutions in it. Like, I want to hear your solutions.
Have to get rid of the owners, bro. I swear to God, that is the only solution. It's either this ownership is the only constant thing that has remained exactly where it is after 1,000 managers. These aren't dickheads we're bringing in, you know.
Yeah. Listen, all the people in the chat who are Erik ten Hag out in it, give me the solutions in it. Please give me the solutions to what to do. And do you trust Murta, Arnold, 25% Ratcliffe to fix this? Because this ain't going to be fixed. I've got a solution and I'm going to come to that. But let me go back to Tom. Tom, if we do say we get rid of Erik ten Hag, are you done with Erik ten Hag? And it's okay to say that, you know what I mean, that you're done. But do you have a solution? Like who to get? And do you trust the Glazers and the bankers to go and get somebody that can fix this?
I'll be very honest with you. I don't have any hope in what he's doing at the moment because I can't see what he is doing.
Facts.
But I'd rather stick with what we've got because I don't see what else there is out there that's going to change. Who's going to come in and change this? I'll be very honest in saying it. If we got rid of Erik ten Hag tomorrow, even though I'm not happy with what I'm seeing at the moment on the football field, who do you get? And people can say De Zerbi or, you know, you could even try and bring fucking Pep or Klopp in. I don't care. Nothing will change. These guys, they have 2-3 years to work with proper footballing people above them to build a project, to build a plan. Who the fuck does Erik ten Hag have to actually work with? John Murto, he couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. He went all the way around Europe. They came home with no players. On that one summer window, chased Frankie de Jong. I don't even know where, chased him down some blind alleys in Barcelona, and he still couldn't get him to come. The guy, he's not he's not a negotiator. He's not a sporting director. I don't know what he is. And the biggest thing, he doesn't even have the phone book. The phone book, as a sporting director, you need to have a world-renowned global phone book of football agents, of players' entourages, even players themselves. You need to be in that net and have that network and connections. He doesn't have that. Why? Because he's never been sporting director. So Erik ten Hag, the way that we're playing on the football field, it has to be blamed on the manager. Because the players, I don't know what he's doing from Monday to Friday or even Sunday, whenever we play, to actually impact what the results are. And I said it before when we came back after that 2 weeks. What has he been doing for 2 weeks? What has he actually been doing? The way that we're playing right now, and Mateus makes a good point here, a team like this, where we don't have a clear style of play, and if it's just that you need a man manager, Carlo Ancelotti then. Carlo Ancelotti's a decent man manager. It's not a clear identifying of a style of play, but the guy gets the best out of the best players in the teams that he's managed. But with Erik ten Hag, the one thing that we can say for what it is, he spent money, guys. I don't want to hear this about that we haven't bought players. We've bought players that he worked with or he knows who have played the style of football that he's supposed to be renowned for. I've seen so many compilations and clips and whatever from 2 years ago when they come back up on your timeline of when everybody's getting giddy about, we're going to play 5-6 passes in like 10 seconds. We're going to blow people away, speed on the counter-attack. And we've got nothing, guys. We've got absolutely nothing. So at the end of the day, you can sack Erik ten Hag tomorrow. If it was up to me, the way that he's playing right now, he shouldn't be sacked. The way the team is, he should be sacked. But if we sack him tomorrow, guys, I can't honestly sit here and give you a name that would A, come to Manchester United, and B, would do anything different. Because I think it's a graveyard shift for players, managers, and you know what? You can even bring in a sporting director. You can bring in Paul Mitchell. Who signs off on the checks, guys, for any of the players that he wants to bring in? Joe Glazer. So as soon as he wants to bring in a player that Joe Glazer will never have heard of and won't make him a commercial revenue fortune, what's he going to do? He's going to veto it. There's a young kid in, I don't know, South America. He's, from Rio. He's 18 years old. He's going to be the next, R9. I've never heard of him. That's Joe Glazer's response. I've never heard of him. But there's Harry Kane. There's proper number 9s. There's world-renowned number 9s who's got a bit of brand to him, who's got a bit of appeal to him. Let's go and get one of them if we can get them for cheap. So at the end of the day, the way I would look at it from what I've seen is you can get rid of Ten Hag, but anybody on this panel, and listen, I'll throw the question as it goes round as an additional question to anybody else who wants to take it forward. You get rid of Eric Ten Hag tomorrow, give me a name then. And people in the chat can do it. Give me one name that would A, come to Manchester United right now, and B, that you believe is actually even realistic to make any sort of a difference.
There you go. There you go, Tom. Jarvis, I didn't hear what you said, your answer. I was sorting out the cat. Scholes has been an absolute rascal. Can you just sum up what you said, please? The team selection. What did you think about the team selection, just quickly?
He enjoyed it. He thought we played really well, didn't you, Joe?
No way. What I said was arrogance is going to be Ten Hag's downfall. He keeps selecting the same players over and over again, and it's like the definition of insanity. And that's basically my point that I said that 5 minutes ago. But now going out to the what's the answer? And I see in the chat a lot of people say Ten Hag out, and we want a new manager, but don't forget, people, the idiots in charge. And now I'm talking about Murto and Arno, not the big ones, the big idiots, but the two small ones. Murto and Arno, they are both incompetent and clueless. So we might as well have Floyd and Harry from Dumb and Dumber running the club, because they don't know what to do. And what we gotta realize is they don't have a new manager lined up. They didn't plan for this. They didn't think of it, even though it's just like short time since Solskjaer got sacked and they didn't have a plan B when they brought in Ragnick. But still, they don't learn because they are clueless and they are dumb. So sacking Ten Hag now will only mean that they will get an interim in, or maybe the Fletcher becoming as a manager, and that won't solve anything. So at the stage we are at now, we might as well just give it to Ten Hag and let him at least be out the season before we evaluate him and do something else. That's my thoughts on the current situation. And now we are like discussing what to do. And when I think about United, I think about stages of grief. It's like the stages of being a Man United fan, because we have denial, we have anger, then we go to bargain, and we go out in full depression, and at last we go into acceptance. And now discussing what we do forward is like the bargain stage. And in a couple of months we will just accept the situation. The season is gone, and we just have to wait until the summer and hope that new owners comes in or something like that.
Yeah, big up Jarvis, big up. 100%. We've been like that, innit? I always said, the soundtrack. People get in the comments. What's the soundtrack for today's game? Because that's what we do after match reactions now. We have a soundtrack. To me, the last decade, Mundo, it's been living on a prayer. We're halfway there. Whoa. Bon Jovi, you know what I mean? We're living on a prayer.
And the football is like living on a prayer. It's like
Mundo, listen, I'm gonna press you and think, if we did sack Eric Ten Hag, who do you think comes in? Because like Jarvis, I know 100%. Then they're not planning. They've not planned to sack. Managers have a word with other managers. You know, like when managers have got manager, what they do is proper well-run teams. They even when the manager is doing well, they sound out other managers from other clubs. They'll go, if something happened at this club, would you ever consider coming here? They sound these things. They're not, like I said, dumber and dumber. Honestly, I might watch that tonight just for a bit of laughs.
Lloyd and Harry.
I think that
who do you think should come in, Mundo? Who do you think should come in? Arch.
Well, this is a bit wild, but I think what could happen, and it's dependent on if Jim the Rat gets his foot in the door, because there's talk of him getting Paul Mitchell in as the DOF. I could see in the summer, so I don't think they would sack Ten Hag straight away. I think he would get until the end of the season, because with that takeover money that's a bit of injection into the club, right? Because think it's all about financial here. So if that happens before January, I think Tenhag stays in his job until the summer, and then I think our next manager will be Nagelsmann, because Nagelsmann is managing Germany on an interim basis, right? Just for the Euros. Then he wants to get back into club football, and I'm just making a link between the Red Bull group, Mitchell, Nagelsmann, so on and so forth. So I could see that happening, yeah, potentially in the summer. If the takeover doesn't happen before January, then the board will start to panic because they can't afford to lose that Champions League money next season. They'll pull the plug, and then they'll just they'll do something rash like get Conte, because they'll think if you get Conte in, he might be able to get us Champions League football. Something ridiculous like that will happen. So those are the two potential things I can see happening, right? Might be a couple of wild takes, but potentially that's my thinking. Would I sack the manager? I see no point in sacking him, just because who are we going to get? Who are we going to get? There's no point in getting another manager at this stage, because they're just going to come in and inherit a mess. You might as well give him until the end of the season, and then if you're going to get rid, the board needs to be decisive and say, you know, and I know that sounds ridiculous. We're talking about Man United here, but
forget yourself, Mundo. You forgot yourself 1 minute there, didn't you?
Yeah,
you forgot yourself.
Let's give him until the end of the season. We get to the end, unless things get absolutely untenable, where we're like hovering above the relegation zone. Then you just think, you know what, the season's done. Keep him, and then you start looking for the new manager now, in readiness for the summer. Now, who would I go for? Now, I said Nagelsmann. That's not my choice. I just think that's just me thinking outside the box.
But Mundo, how can you go for a manager who's not going to come in the summer and take the pre-season? In terms of he's going to be finishing international football and then coming into. But
it doesn't matter, because if you've got Paul Mitchell, right? If you've got Paul Mitchell as your DOF, he's doing all the transfer business. I know the manager's not there to instill his style.
Mundo, I don't know if you saw. I mean, we talk about this 25%. It's being hypothetical as we speak right now, because there's no other details. So this is all built on a hypothetical. But in terms of, there's no injection of money coming to the. If he buys it 25%, all that money goes to the Glazers. That money doesn't come for transfers, and also the fact that Manchester United have made record revenue, but we're £800 million in debt, nearly £1 billion in debt. So how does that square?
I'll tell you what's going to happen in the summer as well. My predictions: Varane and Casemiro. This is all dependent on if the Rat gets his foot in the door and gets Paul Mitchell. They'll go to Saudi. That will bring in some money. That's what I think. I think some of the older members of the. I think that will be their strategy. Will be to lower the age of the group, get rid of the older players that are on big wages. So I think Casemiro will go. I think Varane will go. He's injury prone, so I think he's done. I don't think he can play at this level anymore. So I think he will be out the door in the summer. We know Ratcliffe had views about the Casemiro signing anyway. He was very scathing of spending that amount of money on a player of that age and giving him that length of contract. So I think he'd be happy to see him out of the door. So I think they go to Saudi and bring in quite a bit of money.
Just 1 second, Mundo. Munwani, I've sent you the link. Jump on. Go ahead, Mundo. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think that could be a possibility in the summer. I think Harry Maguire will still go. I think Matt Tomlin is a saleable asset. He will go.
Mundo, where are you getting all this from?
No, I'm saying this is No,
this is on the basis. This is a big hypothetical, isn't it?
It is a big hypothetical, but this is on the basis of having a Paul.
Are we dreaming? Are we dreaming, Mundo? We dreaming?
No, I'm saying this is having a Paul Mitchell guy, right? A DOF who's able to pull off those kind of deals, right?
Mundo, by the way, Paul Mitchell in recent years has not impressed at all. And most clubs that he's been to has been a failure, by the way. He had a really good run at Southampton. He did all right at RB Leipzig. He failed at Tottenham. And he failed at Monaco. So
how did he fail at Monaco? Look how many young players Monaco have sold for a killing. Like, has he not scouted any of them? look how much they bought in for Disasi and Chouameni and these guys. They've made a lot of money. He must have been part
They
of
made
that.
a lot of money, Mundo. Listen, they made a lot of money. Manchester United are not a selling club, and we don't create these young players that to sell on. Manchester United need to go and get the best in their positions.
No,
So
that's true.
how is he going to do that? Man United are not a selling club. They're not a selling club. Leipzig's a selling club.
No, but I'm
Southampton,
saying, but in terms of incoming,
Southampton was a selling club.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like it's.
And by the way, and Mundo, by the way, let me just say one final thing. It's okay for somebody to have a director of football when there's no pressure on those clubs. Monaco are not expected to win. Southampton were not expected to win. Spurs were not expected to win. IP Leipzig were not expected to win. Paul Mitchell has not had a top 8 club in Europe being a director of football, and he's found talent that's worked out and won things.
Yeah, but all of the players,
and there's different pressures on all the clubs that he's been.
Yeah, I get that, and it's he can't be coming and bringing in Southampton level players for Manchester United.
No,
right?
no.
Manchester United want to win. That's obviously that's the case. But the thing is, it's for me. You don't need to have a spectacular director of football to be able to identify the best talent in the world, right? Anyone with eyes can see who the best players are. But what you need is, you need a combination of being able to attract the best players and also being able to get young players and players that are kind of first, second contract that are maybe not quite there, but make your team better. Like, look how Liverpool scout. Liverpool don't go out and buy loads of world-class players, do they? They buy players that are literally like the next tier down and develop them into world-class players. And that's what Ferguson used to do. Ferguson used to do the same thing.
But Mundo, let me say something to you. Liverpool are a very stable club. Actually, they've lost all of their football structure. The six people have left, and actually this summer they used what did they use? They used a German guy from Wolfsburg, who is Klopp's friend, to come and help him out. And now say he's gone. But let me just get this. Mufc TV says some people are saying sack him, and now the same who said it was a mistake to sack it all early and have an interim manager. I know the level of hypocrisy is unbelievable. Go ahead, Mundo.
Don't sack him now. Don't sack him now and get in some donkey interim. I don't trust
Darren Fletcher with his twins. You're not having that. Darren Fletcher with his twins?
Nah. But you know who Barcelona or who Manchester City brought in when they needed a DOF? Mm-hmm. They brought in Trixie Bergestan from Barcelona. They brought in one of the biggest.
And the head of recruitment?
And Soriano. They brought in Soriano. They brought in.
So they brought in the head of recruitment.
The biggest.
And the head of recruitment? Yeah.
And Soriano.
Luani, can you switch off the YouTube stream? And then so you can come on and talk. Big up to you, brother. They bought in one of the best head of recruitment and the best director of football. That's who they bought in. And actually, both of them made mistakes early on. They made mistakes, but which the model of Man City does, what it does is that when they make mistakes, they can quickly cover up the mistakes. That's what they do. They quickly cover up the mistakes. Yeah. They shift the players. Look how many players that he bought in from Barcelona. They bought in so many centre halves. They bought in. Remember, it used to be Fernandinho, Fernandez. Remember, Fernando. Those kind of guys. The goalkeepers. They bought in some guys. Got rid of them. They covered up the mistakes quickly. Like that's what they were able to do. Bumbaye,
yo,
you said he was crap, but some people are saying that he should have played the youngsters. Some people are saying that he should have just thrown in the youngsters because at least with the youngsters we would have a chance. At least we have a bit of spirit. It's a derby. I mean, what does that indictment tell you? Because Oli got smashed, Jose got smashed, Ranier got smashed, Tenhag's getting smashed.
I think Eric.
What's the common denominator here? What's the common denominator?
I think that, well, like I said, man, look, it's very, it's getting. We have to accept the problem that exists is not one that is something that we can actually really force the issue with it as easily as we can force the issue of getting rid of a manager. It's the ownership. It's It's the gap between the ownership and the pitch. But ultimately, look, Eric Tenhag is not somebody that has endeared himself to me. I've not really built a fondness of this manager. You know, Van Gaal, I fell in love with him. Mourinho, I fell in love with him. Oli, I am in love with Oli because of what Oli means to us. Eric Tenhag is a guy that was sold to me, man. Oh yeah, he plays football, he does this, he does that. No, I'm not. I'm not one of these fans that have said I want to win anything. I'm not. I'm not saying that. All I'm asking for is some decent football. Um, we're not getting anything. What a lot of other teams are doing is they have a very clear message for the players. This is exactly what we want to do, and then they go and buy a player, and he's the right player because he fits in with what we want to do. I'm watching the players that we've signed. Nobody's really doing anything. Nothing's really improving. I'm still, maybe I don't understand football. Maybe other people know it better than me. I'm watching the team and I'm bored to tears. I don't see any improvement. It's shit, man. If you want me to tell you a manager that I would like, you won't like this. I don't think you boys would like this, but I don't care
already.
anyway.
Antonio Conte.
Antonio Conte, bro, and I'll tell you why.
How did I know that? How did I know? How did I know that?
It's because I wanted Antonio Conte. It's because I wanted Antonio Conte, and this is why I want him. The first and foremost thing, yeah, we could sit here and you could
that joker that failed miserably at
happens.
Spurs, that clown.
Bro, it's okay. That happens, bro. That happens. But for me, what I want,
just, bro, you know what? Leave Antonio's hair alone. We don't want him to lose his hair.
Let me.
No, but I can sum it up because I want to bring in Luiani. Luiani's joined us.
Let me sum it up. Yeah, and boys, you shouldn't be dissing any managers, the club that we're supporting. You should take shit if we get shit at this moment. Antonio Conte, one thing I know about him, he's not a yes man. You will know what's happening above him, just like Jose did. And I think that's why they didn't get him in the first place. He was desperate to come.
But we already got Jose to do that. We already got Ranić to do that.
Yeah, but listen, what's the point in bringing a manager in?
Does that change anything?
Yeah, of course it does. It brings the ownership into disrepute.
But Ranić did it. Jose did it. Van Gaal did it.
And he can incite you at least more. And he's not a yes man. How do you know Eric Tenhag's not a yes man?
Well, he's a yes man. He's a yes man.
Right. That's first of all. I don't want that. I want a disciplinarian. I want a guy I want a guy that comes in
with these players that are paid that amount of money that are on these big contracts.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want a guy that's a madman like Antonio Conte. Show you up from the back. Don't concede goals. And I think Antonio
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Can give you a brand of football, that will be effective. And I'm at the point with Eric Tenhag where I'm looking now. I just want to change, guys. It's gone on way too long for me. This people are saying he doesn't have to get into relegation. This season is bad enough.
Actually, I'll take relegation because I know the Glazers will fuck off then.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But for me, Antonio Conte is a man, bro. He will come in. He knows exactly how he likes to do things. Clear plan. Eric Tenhag is flip-flopping. That's his problem. I can make a case to you now. This is a manager that has abandoned his principles. This is a manager that keeps going on about, I have to give you the football I'm giving you because I don't have the right tools to do the job. Man, the players that you've bought, my brother, have they changed anything for me? Have they improved anything for me? You're not even playing them when they're fit sometimes. You're choosing to leave them off.
Right, listen.
Right,
we got the point.
So for me, get Antonio in, man.
You know what? Just for the laughs in it. That's all you want in it. Be honest. You just want to get Antonio in for the laughs in it, for the press conference.
Bro, why wouldn't you get him?
Why would I get him?
Why wouldn't you get him?
Because we already tried that with Jose, and he ended up in the same shit. But go ahead, Luani. Big up to you, brother. I hope you're well. All the way in the US of A. New York.
Hi guys, how are you doing today? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. But speak up a bit more.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to the show. I've been waiting to join in and give my 2 cents. So today you'll be a little surprised, but I kind of think today is one of our better performance. Okay, the reason for that is that we were able to counter them on a few opportunities, but the execution, the last pass was poor. Okay, but there is nothing today that I saw that I haven't been seeing in the past few months. I'm Tenhag out. Okay, I've been Tenhag out for a while now, and I have my reason. The main reason for that is that we brought him here so we could return to the fundamental of playing football. He didn't do that. That's the main reason we could have gone for any other manager if we wanted to win a trophy. But because we brought him here to play football, and we are not playing football, he compromised. He was not. Once he compromised on his principle, he have to go.
Yeah.
I don't have. People are saying, "Oh, we went through this before we sack managers and this." Guys, sacking managers is normal. Okay, Manchester United is not a mom and pop shop. It's a corporate business. That's the way it happens in real world, in corporate world. Okay, they bring in the leadership bring in their team, and they hold them accountable when the results are not right. It doesn't matter how many managers. We already know the structure on top is a mess. Okay, other than touching them, if any of you know anybody that want to pay 10 billion, to buy the club, if they want to sell it, fine. But those people are untouchable as for now. The next thing we can do is take the manager out because he's underachieving. I don't understand why we can all sit here and say, oh, Ten Hag supposed to do this, but he didn't do it. He's supposed to not play this player, not do this, not do this. The tactics are wrong, but yet we want to keep him. Make that make sense. We have over the past, since Alex Ferguson has retired, there are a lot of clubs on the world stage that are operating, I would say, similar model. If you take Bayern, for example, they have their old players that they go.
I'm sorry, Luani. I'm
Yes.
really sorry, Luani. Bayern Munich, when they don't win, they get rid of the director of football, the head of recruitment.
Okay.
They clean them out and get other ones. To comparing us to them is an absolute howler.
No.
You cannot compare Glazer ownership, Ed Woodward model, now Arnold and Clown Murta, Dumber and Dumber, as Jarvis nicely called them. You cannot expect them to operate. Bayern Munich last season won the league on the last day. Straight after the final whistle, they sacked the director of football and head of recruitment.
Okay. But now, look at us, right? Can we sack the Glazers? No, we can't sack the Glazers. But we know that the Glazers are the one holding together John Myrtle and the other clown, right? Why are they doing that? Because those people is a boy. We have already determined that it's a boys job for the boys club. They are untouchable. Okay, we can touch them. So the next thing, there's nothing wrong with saying, what, this manager, he got 400 million to spend. And
hold it there. Listen, hold your thought there. Let me just get the super chat, and I've got a question to ask you. So just stay there. Alien Tennis to get the Italian stitch on stallion as manager. If you know, you know in it. He wears the wig. That stitch on wig. If you know, you know. He's wearing a wig. Let me ask you the question, Luani. Who would you get as a manager then? You want to get rid of Tenhag, no problem. Who's the manager you're getting?
To be honest with you, I don't care who we get.
No. Listen, if you want the manager out, you need to have an idea. As somebody who's coming onto the show, you've got to have a name that you think can do it. Mundo said, get Paul Mitchell, maybe Nagelsmann. So what manager do you think they would get?
Okay. If we sack Ten Hag right now, we can bring in Michael Carrick as an interim. That's an interim option. I'm just giving you, that's an interim option. If we have availability.
It's better than Darren Fletcher. I'll give you that. It's better than Darren Fletcher. It's better than Darren Fletcher.
Right. Now, if we can bring in an interim, bring in Ancelotti. That's okay. Okay.
Well, Ancelotti's at Real Madrid.
He's getting
So
sacked very soon. He's getting sacked very soon.
They just won the game yesterday. They just won the El Clasico. How's he getting sacked?
We shall see.
Okay,
my problem, Nuruddin, is that we are not playing football. Okay, look to this. Tenhag is selecting the team. I'll give you an example, Nuruddin. You can have good players, but if they're making bad decisions, they are as bad players. The same way you can have average players, and if they're making good decisions on the pitch, they will be as good players. Ten Hag has been managing this team for 2 years. We have Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire starting today. When Ten Hag took over, I'll give you 4 names: Teddy Mengi, Eric Baye, Ethan Led, and the guy we have at Luton Town, the defender we have at, what's his name? It's 4 of them. 4 defenders that were there when he took over. You reckon?
Yeah, Eric Baye, listen. Let me say something to you now. Eric Baye, not fit, not to start any games. Teddy Mengi, also injury prone. So that's 2 out. What 2 are you talking about?
Ethan Led.
The manager didn't think he was good enough.
Okay. Axel Tonzebe.
Well, he was a mystery, actually. Nobody even knows where he's playing at the moment. Is he even a professional football? He might have quit football. Nobody knows. Does anybody in the chat know where Tuanzebe is at the moment? He's still injured, I think. Still injured, but he's out of contract.
Okay.
Where is he playing? He's not even playing in Saudi Arabia.
Injury thing in football is about luck, right? You reckon if we have 4 of those defenders today, they will all be 4 injured? Nobody will feature among those 4 rather than Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans? Like, what is this? He made those.
Well, people were happy when I told them, listen to me, Luani, when I told them about that's the only signing centre we're going to get, people were laughing at me, saying to me, calm down, when I was down there. And actually, to be fair to him, he's not looked at a place because we're that shit. We're at his level. Leicester relegation kind of player. But Luani, listen, big up to you. Thank you so much for.
Let me say one last thing, okay?
Football. To me, you said Michael Carrick. You said Ancelotti. They're both howlers.
Okay. Let me add one last thing before I leave. Nuruddin, thank you.
Go ahead.
Today, on the third goal of City, right? I saw quality players playing simple football. You have Grealish that hold the ball. He used the overlap, which is Bernardo Silva. Simple cross, Holland goal. Why does Rashford never use his overlap? Why does Anthony never use his overlap? That's not on the players. That's on the coach. It's on the coach to take, even, I don't care how good they are as quality. It's on the training ground. Do what I asked you to do. Use the overlap. Keep football simple. Respect the game. And you play. You can't do that. You can sit on the bench. That's on him. You see, we cannot complicate things that are simple. There is one man in charge of the whole squadron.
No, listen, I agree with you, Luani. Listen, I agree with you to this point. Manager come out this week and said that he's not dropping Rashford. He's going to play him through it. That's what he said. He's going to back his boy. But big up for you for coming on.
Thank you so much for letting me in.
Can I throw a name in the mix and ask the guys?
No. Go ahead, Mundo. Go ahead quickly.
No, I was going to say, what does everyone?
But by the way, Mundo, do you think somebody was talking about Hans Flick saying get Hans Flick? Do you think Hans Flick plays the high line? Nagelsmann does the most suicide football I've ever seen in my life, and that's why he got sacked at Bayern Munich.
Yeah, he plays some crazy high line. But what does everyone think? What does everyone think about Unai Emery?
100%. Good manager, sick manager. I swear to God, I was gonna say him or Conte, them two.
Good manager.
Okay.
No Conte, but Unai is a good manager.
Listen, Unai is a good manager. Listen, but at this moment in time, do you think he's going to leave Villa to come to Manchester United, Mundo, for all the problems we got?
Well, they're better.
By the way, big up. Yeah, listen, no, 100%, but I doubt it. He would come mid-season. Listen, if we got rid of Eric Tenhag tomorrow or the next day or next week or any time during the season, like he said, we know for the past decade, they went and got an interim. They don't hire a manager straight away. So that's what's going to happen. So choose your interims, because that's what we're going to get. Think about your interim managers if you want Erik ten Hag gone, because they're not getting anybody else.
Do you know what? Look, my man here, nice to meet you, by the way. Luani.
Nice to meet you,
do you know, he has put something in, he has put it in very good perspective. What we're seeing on the pitch is what the manager's asking these boys to do. And if he's not going to make the changes, or they're not doing what he's telling them to do, he has to be taking the responsibility. Why? So really, when you ask the question now is, what is the case for keeping Erik ten Hag though? Like at this moment in time, this with me today, obviously, it's pouring out of me now. You're seeing it. I'm looking at today's game and I'm asking myself, like, what are we holding on to? Do we think there's going to be a miracle, or there's going to be some change, or Casemiro will come back and Mount will come back, and then Martinez will be here and Varane and everything? The football is shit.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you. Listen. I'm not telling you to get Unai Emery and Antonio Conte because you're overnight going to get a phenomenal football. But what I like about Conte, bro, he knows exactly what he wants. And if you don't give it him, he will drop Bruno on the bench. He will pull Rashford off. That's what I want.
So at least can drop those two players. Brilliant.
No, bro, I'm just giving you one.
We're only hiring managers who can pull off two players. Brilliant. Listen, we can go around in circles. I just want to ask something. Can anybody please tell me, big up, Tuan Sebe, I didn't even know does he play for Ipswich? Does he actually start games? That's the question. Apparently
he's not even played a game. No, he's not played a single game for them.
So he's not even playing a game at the championship. But Luani thought that he could have been the guy for us. Listen,
boys, the team that you've got there, the squad that you've got there should not be playing this shit football against Luton Town and Sheffield United and Copenhagen. Sorry. That's just not acceptable.
Have we played Luton Town yet? Have we not played Luton Town?
Bro, do you know what I mean? I'm not here telling you that we've not got some problems and this and that. But I'm not asking you to turn up to Liverpool and City and Chelsea and Tottenham and Arsenal and turn them over and mash it up. I'm asking for some half-decent football. Just when's the last time we had a performance where we thought, you know what? We clipped this. We dominated this game today. It was solid. We well deserved the victory. It was good football.
Tottenham.
We've had it easy. We've had it. Like Tottenham last season at Old Trafford. That's the only one. All these games, bro. Sheffield United, we win it with a worldie. Copenhagen, they ripped us to shreds. This could be an even worse conversation.
You know what I mean? Everybody understands and knows this. Listen, this has been going on for 10 years. This is my solution, people. So quickly, we'll go around. Eski, we're going to jump off in a minute, bro. So let's see if you can make it. Big up, Eski. My solution is this. It's time for a wake-up call, people. It's time for true realization who we are, what we are as a football club. We're not that football club anymore. We're not the club that Fergie. We're not the club of Busby. We're not the club of Bobby Charlton. Rest in peace. Brilliant. That was the only good thing today. When the Alex Ferguson stand, they put, Bobby. That was brilliant. And I thought that obviously Manchester City, Manchester United players who played against Bobby and played against Bobby, all of them got on the pitch. That was the best thing about the game today. That was the only good thing about the game, was that the send-off to Bobby and the standing ovation that he got. And big up to City fans who clapped, and big them up for bantering us. Banter is here. We are welcome. The city is yours. But you still got empty seats out there, empty. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. The city is definitely yours, though. And it has been for the past decade. So in this sense, we need to get a reality check. The biggest reality check for me, as a Manchester United fan base, is that we're not that football club anymore. Right? Glades are not going anywhere. There's only quarter of us in the stadium, less than quarter, who are militant enough to do banners and to do protests and stuff like that. Majority of people are not walking out, so forget about empty stadium and all that kind of business. This country is full of apathy. That's what we are. We're full of apathy. We don't do jack. There are a lot of United fans who just come and just for a day out. It's a day out. That's what Roy Keane talked about in terms of the prawn cocktail, sarnies, sandwiches. That's what he was talking about, where they're not even asked. They're just here just for the laugh on a day out. So the solution is this. The solution is that you stick with one manager, because rinse and repeat FC, with this 25% coming in, apparently with the Ratcliffe, ain't gonna solve this. Ain't gonna fix it. So you stick with a manager, and you stick with a manager for 2 years. And if the football don't improve, right, by let's say 3 months into the third season, then you change. Then you do the same again. So you give the manager 2 years, but in that 2 years, you stay away from Champions League, you stay away from Europa League, you get out the cups early, and then you give the manager time in the training ground. You give the manager time in the training ground to be able to run his patterns. That's what you do. Then you don't, to me, first of all, you don't sign anybody. Right? Stop signing players. So I know this is radical, but bear with me. We don't sign anybody. We employ good coaches to help the manager. We say to him, the manager, go and get the best young coaches. Instead of buying players, we get coaches, innovative coaches, right? Then we say to the manager, we're not asked, obviously secretly, because we don't want to say, oh, we're not asked about it. It can't come out in press conference and say, I'm not asked about the FA Cup, I'm not asked about the League Cup or Europa League. No, but you know, if you know, right? You get out of those shitty competitions. To me, the FA Cup is the greatest cup competition in the world, right? But Manchester United are not even good enough to win that. We've only won it once in a decade. We're not even good enough to win that, right?
One go.
That was it. So I'll say it again. We give manager 2 years to coach the players they have, because the Glazers don't like selling players. The players are on big wages. And then what he does then is that first year, look at the youth team, see what's coming through, pick 2 or 3 players. So for the players who are on big wages, who are not doing what the manager says, they hit bench. You give the youngsters a chance. Right? So hear me out again. No transfer windows. Because if you can't sell, then what's the point of buying if you can't sell properly? Right? So the manager then has 2 years to coach the players till we see patterns of play and see a style of play. That's my radical idea. Now it could be all be wrong. It could be whatever it is. But that's my idea, people. That's my only idea, because having looked at the last 10 years, buying players has not saved us. Sacking managers has not saved us. Putting people on big wages has not saved us. Moving players has not saved us. So what? So we might as well now think outside the box and go, no transfers for 2 years. Manager, we bring a manager, the manager, Erik Tenhag. You've got this season to finish and 3-4 months into next season. Till Christmas.
The Glazers would love that.
No,
Nah,
At the
bro.
end of the day, listen to me. At the end of the day, let me say this.
I
At
want
the
a
end
new
of the
face
day,
in the dugout, man.
listen,
I want
Jarvis,
to
I'll
change
come
now.
to you. Listen to me, Jarvis, I'll come to you. By 1 second. The Glazers might love that, but I will rely, because that's not going to change, Jarvis. The Glazers are not going to change.
No.
The clowns who are next to them are not going to change. So
Leopard don't change their spots.
Exactly. So what are we going to do? Don't buy or sell players. Keep the players and build a coaching team and a coaching staff that can coach the players to do patterns of play. And like Spurs, when you do that, right, some of them will buy in. The rest of them who don't buy will hold bench. Like, for example, Højbjerg. Højbjerg's not buying into that style of play that Spurs want to play. Puts him on the bench. Madison, if you noticed, and what's his name, Son, they come off the pitch. They don't moan. They don't groan. They come off the pitch. He takes them off at a certain time. They come off the pitch. So at the end of the day, you give the coaching staff ability to do it. Look what they did. Do you think it was all because he really wanted to get out? And particularly knew what he was doing. Went out of the League Cup, no more distractions. Why? He understands the importance of having time on the fucking training ground. He understands that more than a shitty League Cup. He understands the time on the training ground. So Jarvis, you said the Glazers will love that. You give me your solution how to fix it.
Yeah, we have been mentioning all of these solutions, and I agree. Like, we have to change ownership. Obviously, we need to have a new management at the club. The people who are in charge. We need a director of football. We need football people in charge of the sporting operation of Man United. So
but that's not going to change, Jarvis. That's not going to change.
No, but everybody agrees upon that. But that's the next solution. If we talk about new manager. at the moment, I have a soft spot for, if you have seen La Liga, there's a newly promoted team that's called Girona, who's up there. They're on
Girona,
second place in La Liga at the moment, and they have a really exciting manager who's called Miguel Angel, or is called Michel, and he
Michel
plays
Angel,
a progressive type of actually 4-4-2, and they
Sorry
keep
to
the
break it
width.
to you, Jarvis, but Girona are part of the City group, I think. So I think he's going to Man City anyway.
Yeah, but
he's going
how
to
they
the blue
play.
side.
I'm just saying I have a weak spot for how we play football. It's like in the Man United spirit. They play a 4-4-2 formation, but they keep the width. They have a double width all the time, and they shift the play all the time on two players, and they attack with pace, and they defend in the 4-4-2. Really tight defense. They hardly concede goals. And they are really hard to play against. So all the
How long
teams
has
that
he
play
been there, Jarvis? How long has he been there? How long has he worked on that project?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have that information at hand, but
I bet 2 years. I bet 2 years or season and a half where there's zero pressure on him. You have to understand the fans. That's what I'm saying to you. My solution is to dampen fans' expectations of a trophy of Europa League or Champions League. That is my thing. Let the guy focus, but carry on. Go ahead.
Yeah, good solution in a way. But if we are looking for a new manager, we should look for a manager who suits our club. Who because we have the academy, we have it's from the youth level and up until senior level, and everybody needs to be on board. All the coaches, all the staff around, all the kit man and the cleaning ladies and the cantina personnel. Everybody has to be on board. How the club should perform at the best level, and we shouldn't like be having a civil war inside Man United. Are we playing Ten Hag style, or are we playing Mourinho style, or are we playing Alex Ferguson style, or whatever? Everybody needs to be on board on what we are trying to do. So in a way, I would wish that we could go for a manager like that, but that will never happen. We will go for a big name because that's just the way we are as a club. So
I just
in a
want to
way,
make a point here.
Yeah.
I just want to make a point here. This is something you might want to consider. Graham Potter went to Chelsea and he failed completely. It's a difficult job, I understand. Erik Ten Hag is the type of manager that you're describing, I think, Jarvis. This was a person that was progressive, that played a very nice brand of football. He got everybody's attention. Everybody got excited. We're going to transfer that brand of football to Manchester United. A lot of people are saying
playing the 4-4-2 like we have always been doing. The 4-4-2 is the Man United style of formation in a way, historically.
Okay, but you're taking somebody from Ajax and from Brighton, respectively, to Goliaths of clubs. You're bringing a guy from Girona to a big job. That's why, for me, I wanted to try this Ten Hag thing and say, you know what? We've had the big names. We've had the homegrown organic Oli. We've had that. We tried that Moyes farce. Let's go with this innovative new wave football. Nice young, vigorous approach. I don't. Bro's too big for him. Zlatan made some good points. He looks out of his depths for me, Erik Ten Hag. Sometimes a manager, you realize how good he is because things are falling apart, but he brings it back. He brings it back. Sometimes, man, that's it. The reins are loose, the wheels are shaky. So you go and get that kind of guy. One thing I know with guys like Conte, I know he's not a fan favorite. I know a lot of people don't want him, but that's a guy that's not afraid to come and take the hot spot here. Do you know what I mean? These are guys that will drag the club, but you have to be all in with them, or they do crash and burn. They do crash and burn.
I just want to shoot in. We have 15 points after 10 games. We have 1.5. We have 1.5 points on average. So we have a trajectory of 57 points at the end of the season. That will give us 9th or 10th place according to last year's table. So if Ten Hag won't last, he will be fired as soon as we have no chance for the Champions League. We know the Glazers, so we need a new manager. At least we need to think of this solution.
Listen, hold it right there. Eski.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm not surprised, isn't it? We're shit. But look, look. I want to counter almost everyone's point because everyone's made a point about the manager, and I've criticised him a lot as well. Yeah, with the substitutions, not playing the young players, right? But I was a big supporter of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think you'll know Nuruddin. I was backing him until the day he got sacked, right? Because I didn't believe he was doing that bad of a job. I didn't believe that it was his fault. If you know what I mean, because look what's happened. Why did we want to sack him? Okay, let's look back. Look, I don't remember like games, full 90 minutes, everything. What I remember the most when it comes to football is feelings around the time. The same time when we lost the Europa League final, the voices around the time was that if Harry Maguire had played that game, we would have won it. That's a fact. I remember narratives and you know, fuck all this revisionism shit. We got rid of Ollie because we didn't want to do this counter-attacking football shit. We said, we're Man United, we're at Old Trafford, we want to start being on the ball. It was obvious that Ollie was playing this style because he didn't have the players to be on the ball. He didn't. And what happened? We wanted a DM. We were screaming for a DM.
Listen, actually, when he did try to be on the ball, we got slaughtered, but go ahead.
Yeah, why? Yeah, exactly. Right, I'm getting to that. So when he said, okay, let's try this next style of football, we're getting battered. Why? We needed the DM and we needed controllers in midfield. Who did we get? We got Ronaldo, we got Cavani, Amad Diallo, Pellistri. Good attacking forwards, don't get me wrong. The Portuguese guy can fuck off. Sancho as well that we wanted, right? Cool. But what's the right? But we needed midfielders. Everyone you've named is either a forward or a defender. Anyone under the Ollie era could say, okay, we're pushing now. Let's get maybe an attacker hero there. You know, we got in Cavani, he was great. You know, Martial was still there knocking about, whatever. But the point was we needed a midfield. He didn't get it and said, let's play possession-based football. Fucked it. Didn't happen. So when Ollie got sacked, fair enough. I'm not going to say, we never should have got sacked. When he got sacked, it was time to go. However, I was saying when the next manager comes in, at least the fan base will clock on. And if the same thing happens again with a new manager, it can't be the manager. What everyone said here today, right? And you're not all wrong. You've made very good points. What everyone here said today about Ten Hag, what is this? What's going on? Well, I'm sorry. We just said that about Ollie. So what's changed? These are two different blokes with the same players. The same. Okay, he spent 400 million and he's got some players in, but who's letting him down? All the players are letting him down. And you say, okay, if you don't play Rashford, who else do you play? Well, if you play Garnacho there, you fuck his career up too. Garnacho will be known as the kid who he's the new Januzaj. Remember Januzaj come in, promising youngster. Januzaj would thrive under a Fergie era. He would have thrived in his pep team. Youngster coming in where it's all good. You put Garnacho into this, it's a mess. I want to big up Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham's the smartest player in the world. He come here, we pulled out all the fucking chaperones, Fergie, Cantona, whoever the fuck else, and he said, no, I don't want to be Paul Pogba's scapegoat part 2. Fuck that. Going to Madrid, tearing it up. And if any of you here think, not saying you specifically, but anyone listening here thinks Jude Bellingham would have come to Man United and was doing what he was doing there, you need to follow another sport. There is no chance. The setup, like Bumbaye said, the setup here is wrong. It's a graveyard. Sancho, one of the best players in Europe, anonymous. Ten Hag, one of the best coaches in the world, anonymous. Up-and-coming coaches, anonymous. It's all set up to be poor. So how can you blame a manager if it's like you asked me to build a house? Okay, can I have my tools, please? No. What the fuck do you want me to do? I have to do the best with what I got. Van Gaal said it. I had to play this shit style of football because it's who I had. Ollie had to play counter-attacking football, which was very effective, by the way. Let's be clear here, guys. When we're under Ollie, when we were underdogs, I had belief in games. I had belief in Paris. When we went there, I said, you know what? Maybe we get some goals. I had belief, like we're all saying today when we went a goal down. Where's the goals coming from? Where is it? There's nothing here. It's just all a mess, right? And I just want to say, look, if Ten Hag goes today, tomorrow, whatever, I couldn't probably give you a name. I actually back my man and say Carrick. Because under Carrick, I thought we played some decent kind of football. All right, it's only 3 games and whatever, but I think he's an all right tactician. So far, what does it mean? Don't matter. He's a fucking interim anyway. But the point is, I think you just keep him because, like we did under Ollie, we sacked Ollie, and Ragnick did fuck all anyway. All he did was come in and tell the truth. Big up Ragnick. But in terms of style of football, it didn't matter. Interims don't work, so you might as well stick with him. Unless we're in 19th, like now, you got to stick with him, boys.
Can I have a?
Big up, SK. Go ahead quickly. Yeah, go ahead. I think you're the last word of the show.
Okay. Why can it be Ten Hag's issue? Why can it be Ten Hag's issue? That's the question I have.
Because it happened with Ollie, happened under Jose, happened under Van Gaal. There's a pattern here. Can you not see, Luani? There's a pattern.
Okay. I have a question for you, Nuruddin. is this team as is constructed with the personnel and their wages, are they underachieving?
Yeah, they're underachieving. Yeah.
Okay. Are the Glazers the one coaching the team?
No.
No.
They're not.
No, they're
Okay,
not.
so we can agree that the Glazers are not coaching. The team, the wages are the high. We have the highest wage in Europe, and we are underachieving. So why is he not Ten
That's
Hag?
not
Yes.
Ten Hag's fault.
So I'll say this to you. Sorry, but those
Okay.
wages are given to them by the Glazers. It's called Glazonomics, Luani. So what they
Okay.
do is give big contracts so players are afraid to lose. So what happens is that the 31% that's on the New York Stock Exchange, there is
Okay.
no losses appears on that. So the shares of the club stays the way they are. That's why
Okay.
they do it.
Okay. Let me get back
If
to
you got
that, right?
accountant, if you got an accountant, there's something called book value. Manchester
Yeah.
United sign players on something called book value. So we don't
Okay.
sign players whether they're crap or whether they're good. We sign them for the length of the contract, and we sign them on this thing called book value.
Okay.
So
So
that's why we have the
Muzi,
biggest
are
wage
you
bill in
telling
Europe.
me? Are you telling me that Ten Hag doesn't have the final say on who is coming and how much the player is gonna be paid?
No.
He doesn't have the final say. So he
Eric
doesn't
Ten
need
Hag
to be
does
a
not.
Manchester United manager then.
Eric Ten Hag
That's
does not. Eric Ten Hag does not negotiate wages for players. He doesn't. No
you
manager
telling
does that.
me he doesn't have a final say on Anthony coming for 100 million and Mason coming for 65 million.
Okay, Luani, here's what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to break it down for you. He wanted Anthony. Manchester United could have got Anthony at June or July 15th. I think the transfer window that year opened July, I think June the 15th. He was worth 60 million. Manchester United waited and twiddled their thumbs like this till the end of August when Anthony went on strike, and Ajax were like, you're not getting him for 60 now. We want 90 because we can't replace him.
Can I just say one thing here, Luani?
No,
One sec, bro.
He doesn't negotiate what gets paid. That's
Nuruddin.
up to the agent. Let me finish. Listen, please. Bombay, don't interrupt me. Let me explain to people because people, I think, misunderstand this. Players' agents and the club negotiate the fee. The Ajax negotiate with Manchester United on the fee. The agent of the player negotiates with Manchester United on how much wages he's getting, not Eric Ten Hag.
But he has the right to veto that. That's the reason why the Hera is not signed to the club anymore. The Hera is not signed because Ten Hag did not want him. He's on astronomical wages and he can't do the job.
Let me explain something.
He has the last say.
Dino, let me explain. Dino, before you explain that,
I'm gonna say this point. He wanted him in the early transfer when he was worth 60 million. Now Manchester United panicked because we got battered by Brentford and we got battered by Brighton, and then we lost 6-3, I think, or was it 7-3 or whatever. No, before we went to City, we got battered. They panicked. They bought Anthony in. They bought Casemiro in, and who else did they bring in? They brought in another player, if I'm not mistaken. So what you don't understand is that the timing. Say that again?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the timing. What I'm trying to say, they brought Anthony in for 100 million. Ten Hag could have said, you know what? 100 million is better spent on a squad. I want to spend it this way. You guys, Anthony is my man, but you guys don't have to bring him in because he's too expensive. That's what management is.
Man, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. Listen to me. Managers say, I want this player. It's up to the club then to negotiate in the right time to get the player when he was at the right price. By the time they went for Anthony, Anthony was already on strike. That's the bit you're not understanding. It wasn't worth 100 million because we went to the last week of the transfer window.
What he's trying to say, what Luani is...
Now, Luani, now listen to me. If there was a strong enough director of football, a proper director of football, they would have sent to Eric Ten Hag, sorry, Eric Ten Hag, you're not getting it. Because Eric Ten Hag came out and said 50% of the players that are signed are on him, 50% is on the club. He said that. It's 50-50, that's what he said. So if we had a strong director of football, Luani, they would have said, sorry, we're not getting him now because the price has tripled or the price has gone up by a third. So we're not getting him. But they didn't do that.
Okay, if we had a strong manager, he could have sent to John Merkel sorry, you're not signing Anthony for 100 million. If you do, I'm not playing him. It's him or I walk. That's what a strong manager does. A strong manager does not allow 100 million to be spent on one winger, and then today he's on the bench.
No, he has a point,
Okay?
bro. What? He has a point because it's how are you
See,
spending them resources? Do you know what I mean you've got a set amount of money? How do you want to distribute that money across the board on this squad?
But
This
no,
guy's
Dean,
going to cost us
no,
80
Dean,
sorry,
million.
guys.
let me
Guys,
say
I'm
something.
sorry.
Let me
I'm
say
really
something
sorry,
really.
guys.
No, Dean, let me say something,
Listen,
please.
listen, I'm really
important,
sorry.
okay?
Listen, I need you to
Yeah.
understand this point. I need you to understand this point. Manchester United panicked. We got battered by Brighton. Jarvis, am I right or wrong? They panicked and started getting players that they were linked with. I don't think you understand. The Glazers never thought they wanted to go and get Anthony and these guys. Lisandro Martinez. Listen, it's not me. This is a Swiss consultancy firm that looks at all transfers. And they said that season, we bought Lisandro Martinez, we bought Anthony, we bought Casemiro. They looked at Manchester United spend and said, Manchester United have overspent by nearly 80 million on players. And the point what I'm trying to make to you guys is that the club panicked. So whatever Eric Tenhag said, they had no money in July, at the end of June. Come July, all of a sudden, almost 200 million from nowhere pops up, and we're signing players right, left, and centre after the biggest embarrassing defeat against Brentford, 4-0 away. So you have to understand the context which certain things were done. Have Manchester United panicked by this in the last 10 years? Mundo and Jarvis, I'm going to ask you guys to say, because I think I'm going mad. And Manchester United knows
sorry,
one or two
Noruddin.
things.
Didn't mean to piss you
Manchester
off.
United
I have
are
a question
known
for you.
for
Do you
panic
know?
buying.
Do you know why Manchester United's job, managerial job, is the most attractive job, even though we've been shit for a long time? Do you know why?
Because you get a payout.
Not
You get a
attractive.
payout.
No, because managers think when they walk in here, this is a big club and they got a blank check. That's why they think that they know that the structure above them is shit. Every manager loves that because you love when you can walk in a job. I've been a manager, right? We love when the district manager does not know nothing and he cannot hold us accountable. And we can come and spend whatever we want and have to justify it to the owner of the store that does not know nothing about how the store runs. But once we have a district manager that knows his job, we don't want to come and mess around. That's the reason why Manchester United job is still attracting big managers, because when they come here, they think that they know that the structure is shit. And when they point out a player, they know that they can operate with a blank check until they can be held accountable or be fired. Tenhag knew what he was walking into. Nobody forced him to walk in here. All we asked him to do is come and play decent football. He compromised on that. He point out some players that have to be bought. Okay, we panic, we buy them. I'll bet we bought them for 100 million on this, 65 million on this, but he still had the right to veto that. As a manager, it's your principle, your core principle to say that, you know what, 100 million spent on a player, I don't want this player. John Metto is not strong enough, a director of football, to tell Eric Tenhag, I'm bringing you Anthony, take it or walk. John Metto is not strong enough for that.
Okay,
no,
we cannot absorb him.
No, but listen,
we agree with each other. We agree.
The problem is, it's simple to say that in hindsight, but you've got to think about the timing of the signing, right? So when we signed Anthony, there wasn't much of the window left. So the situation the manager would have been faced with is we pay 89 million pound for Anthony, or you have nobody, right? And the way that managers think,
nobody. Ahmad is somebody. Pelestri is somebody. I mean nobody.
No.
Yeah, Ahmad was there. He sent Ahmad on loan.
Ahmad was on
he
loan.
did.
He's a kid. No, listen. Let me make my point. The manager, right, is coming to the football club with a team that's been struggling. He's identified the players that he wanted. So he wanted Anthony, right? It came towards the end of the window. His team had just been battered twice, and the club say, we can get you Anthony. Do you think at that point, Ten Hag is thinking, oh, that's £30 million too much? Managers don't think like that. He just thinks, I want that player. The club said, we've got the money available, and he went and bought him. So that was it. And
nah, bro, there's budget. Mundo, there's budgeting involved, man.
Because if they said, no, listen, if they had said to him, if he had said, I need Anthony and another, and they said, we're going to spend all the money on Anthony, then, Luani, your point would stand, because you'd be like, well, why did you decide to spend all that money on Anthony and not get the other player? But as far as we're aware, at that stage of the transfer window, the only guy he definitely wanted was Anthony. So if the club paid 60, 90, 100, 150, 200 million, Ten Hag didn't care at that stage, because that's the play he identified. That's the play that he wanted. And obviously the club didn't say to him, if you get him, you can't get the other target that you wanted. As far as we're aware.
But
no.
Bumbaye is going to tell you there was a budget.
I don't think so.
Bumbaye, I got to break it to you. At that time, no word of a
lie. It don't work like that.
Let me finish. Listen.
No, let's see when he was signed in the window. Let's see the date when Anthony was signed, and we'll see if the points stand. Yeah?
Listen, Bumbaye wasn't following this, so let me just break it down for him. There was no such a thing as a budget. It was pure panic buys because we just got battered by Brentford. We got smashed by Brighton. They've just hired a new manager. We got battered by Brentford, and Jarvis, who followed it closely, will tell you there was no budget. It was pure panic buys. Manchester United have done it to silence the fans. They've done it again and again in the last decade.
Let me say this, yeah. It's a panic buy, and it was 25-30 million pound over what we could have got him for.
35 million pounds over.
Man, it was man. Okay, look, bro, it was £1 billion over. Let's go with that. Yeah. It does not work transfers where you just cherry picking players. Yeah, get him. You have to understand this is what we've got to spend. This is next year's budget. They were talking about next year's budget, and they said if you take Anthony for £85 million, it's going to affect next season's budget. Yep. That's 100% fact. That was happening. And he still said, yes, we want him. And this is one of the reasons Erik Ten Hag is going to get sacked, because players he's bought, he's not bought well. Casemiro has done not very good so far this season. Anthony is well underperformed. Onana, bro, has cost us games. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. Mason Mount was a guy he tried to sign desperately when he was at Vitesse. He played against him at Ajax. The first guy he said he wanted, I want this guy. I need this guy. He got him. He's not playing well. So this is a misnomer that he's just dealing with old players. He's not just dealing with old players. He's got players there that he's bought himself.
You're conflating two issues. So that's talent ID. There's two issues here. There's talent ID and there's transfer fees.
You have to conflate the two issues, Mundo, because if you are sanctioning a big portion of money for a player, if you'd play 25 million for Anthony, he's a dud. We accept that, fine. You've put a lot of eggs in a basket on this guy, and it's affected the next transfer budget.
Do that.
They wouldn't.
It's the responsibility of the DOF.
No, bro. No, it's not.
The transfer committee to veto.
No, bro. I disagree. No,
Jurgen Klopp. Listen to the number of players that Jurgen Klopp wanted to buy Timo Werner. How did he work out for Chelsea?
And what did Jurgen Klopp tell you about money? He said to you, "We don't have this amount of money. We can't buy this player."
Correct.
Because the transfer.
Because he knows what's available.
No, because they're telling him. They have a transfer committee. They have a director of football telling him, we're not allowing you to spend that money on that player. Ten Hag was not told that. The club went and spent it. Any man, if you say to a manager, here is a player. Do you want that player?
So let me just. No, I have to come back at that. I have to come back at that. No, I'm coming back at that because.
Listen, let me just give 1 second. Jurgen Klopp wanted the guy from Dortmund, the director of football, analytics guy. Julian Brandt he wanted. They said to him, no, Mohamed Salah will fit into your system if this is the style you want to play.
Yes, they did. They 100% they did.
We don't have anybody who does that.
Right, fine.
That's the issue.
Erik Ten Hag is making those decisions himself.
Exactly.
But he shouldn't be making those decisions because.
But he is making them.
But listen, look.
And Bondo, what I wanted to say to you was,
yeah,
you come to me, you say, oh, you want Anthony? Yeah, fine. Here we go. Here's Anthony. Then I'll say to you, hey, do you know what? I want this player, but I can't buy him for you anymore. Why not? Well, I tell you, I spent this much on Anthony. Oh, you didn't know? Now we can't buy this next player. It don't work like that. You know, if you buy this player, what you can.
Any manager in world football.
Bumbaye. Let me just say this something now. Quickly.
Is it just buying players in the dark?
No. I want to go to Jarvis. Now, everybody understands and knows, Jarvis, everybody understands that recruitment is no exact science. The best that you can do is look at the Moneyball system that you talked about, what Brentford had, what Liverpool had, right? Analytics, yeah? You have good scouting. You have a good team that most likely will get it more. So the success rate is about 60%. The most stable clubs with stable managers with good football
it's a little bit lower. I think it's 50%.
50%. Right. Listen, let me finish. 50%. Right. So when it's 50%, right? 50%, you know there are other clubs in the world that are competitors that literally, like, for example, Pep Guardiola. You know how many centre-halves he signed? Do you know how many players that that Klopp got rid of at Liverpool that he signed and weren't good enough? Managers are allowed to make mistakes. The only thing where I agree with Luani and I'll agree with Bumbaye is that both of those managers of those football clubs showed something. They showed the fans, the owners, the chairman, they showed them something. They showed the football structure. They showed something on the football pitch, and Eric Tenhag's not showing that. And for me, I agree with both of you, right, Luani and Bumbaye, when you say, but you bought your own players, and in the biggest game of the season, they're both on the bench.
Okay.
That I agree.
No, then let me say 10 seconds quick, right? Do we agree that Ralph Ragnick is a top recruiter in football, right? We do agree.
Yeah.
Do we know why Ralph is not at the club anymore? Because Eric Tenhag didn't want him at the club. That's why Ralph is gone. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Luani. Yes. I'll have to, no. Luani, I'll have to send you the article. Luani, I'm sorry. That's completely false. Completely false.
How?
I'll tell you.
Prove it to me.
Prove it to you. Ralph Rangnick was sacked. So first of all, Ralph Rangnick, the club said this quickly, just to sum it up quickly, because we're going on for far too long. They said that we're signing Ralph Rangnick. So they interviewed four people for this to be the interim manager to the end of the season. They got the guy they thought that might appease the football fans. So the three other managers, I think it was Louis Garcia, Valverde, who just won the league with Barcelona, and there was another guy. Out of French. There was Louis Garcia, who's out of Napoli. There was Valverde, who just the season before won the league at Barcelona, and there was another guy from the French league. Right? There were three people to become the interim. They got Ralph Rangnick. Ralph Rangnick in a decade only coached 80 games. Twice. Once he stepped in at Schalke. The other time he stepped in as an interim at IB Leipzig. But he's not. Everybody's known him to be a director of football. I was there when we seen him outside Old Trafford in 2018. I was there. So the point I want to make to you, bro, is that what they did to appease the fans, they said, this guy's coming in for 6 months. And then to him and to the fan base, they said, he's going to help us sort out the football structure. The first day that when he got hired, I said, where are the details of him staying on for the next 2 years? There was zero details. You know what happened? Him and Murta fell out because he came out and said in January, Manchester United, he exposed the club for what they are. He said Manchester United should have signed the guy at the striker at City. They should have signed Casado and somebody else. 3 players, he said. I think it was Luis Diaz. I think it might have been the guy who plays for Man City, Jarvis. What's his name? The striker, the Argentinian guy.
Alvarez and Guardiola and Luis Diaz and Caicedo.
So what happened then?
The Swiss guy at centre half. He said we should have signed him as well.
Yeah. So he said these players Manchester United should have got. So they showed that they weren't listening to him. From that, the relationship between Murta and Rangnick broke down. That's why you had Ralph Rangnick telling the truth in press conferences. That was when it was done. And you know how I knew it? Because Mark Ogden of ESPN, all of the press were briefing all the people, the Athletic, the ESPN guys, Samuel Lucas, all of them were briefing. This is from the club, Murta briefing them that Ralph Ranić is not getting 2-year consultancy. He's going. That's why he came out every time, because it would have been embarrassing for them to sack the interim. It would have been they sacked Ollie, got rid of Carrick, then got rid of the interim that they bought in. That they would have exposed himself, so they kept him till the end of the season. That is what happened. Nothing to do with Erik Ten Hag.
Okay. Do you know why I put it on Erik Ten Hag? You signing $1 million contract. You have an army of lawyers. You can put it as a condition in contract. This is the guy I want to work with. If he's not there, I'm not coming. Right? So why did he walk in? You want to tell me? We even heard story about Luis Van Gaal warning Erik Ten Hag of what it is, the structure he have. You mean to tell me Erik Ten Hag didn't know what he was walking into? From the moment he signed that contract without a condition, he is responsible for whatever happened next.
No,
if Erik Ten Hag had one Ragnick on top to recruit for him, he would have gotten Ralph Ragnick. He did not want him. That's why Ralph Ragnick is not the club.
No, Luani, I'm gonna have to correct you on the record here. On the first press conference of Erik Ten Hag, they asked him about Ralph Rangnick. He said, "Talk to the club. It's got absolutely nothing to do with."
I remember. He's not gonna come out and say, "I don't want him." He's not gonna come out.
No, it's not about coming out. But this is what. Listen, I will send you the articles. If you message me again on Twitter, and I will send you remind me to send you the articles in real time. Jarvis knows exactly. Jarvis, can you please just try to explain to Luani what happened, the relationship breakdown between
I just gonna add something when it comes to this discussion about net spend, because we got to be clear, there's no net spend in football. No, when we talk about the 70-80 million euros for Anthony, there's no net spend. When it comes to football transfers and economy, it's called amortization. It's accounting. So you write off the total amount, for example, over 4 years. So if you buy a player for 40 million and you write it off over 4 years, so there's 8 million plus wages or expenses over 5 years, and that's how you budget a transfer. And it's about loss. When we had Di Maria, we had a net spend loss of 15.7 million pounds by selling him to PSG the year after we bought him. But on the paper, we made money because we could retract the expenses for the next 4 years plus wages. So we made a profit of 26.5 millions.
Yeah, same with Lukaku. Same with Lukaku.
Yeah. So how can Ten Hag as a football manager know this and do his calculations? He's only interested in one thing, and that's the players he can sign. And the Glazers and the board and everybody should take care of the economy.
Yeah, big up. Listen, Luani and Bumbaye, the point that all of us agree on is a fact. Is that Erik Ten Hag bought some of these players, like Bumbaye said, he wanted Mason Mount, he wanted Anthony, even not at that price, but he wanted Anthony. But when you're not playing your players that you bought for that amount of money and you're putting Bruno fucking Fernandes on the right wing, you're asking to be sacked. You're actually sacking yourself.
Yes, sir.
So that's we agree with.
Do you know what did you want in the summer, bro?
Sir.
What did I want in the summer?
Hit me with what positions did you want in the summer?
I said, and Jarvis will tell you, and I kept saying it. I can't believe you're asking me because I've said it for 10 shows straight.
It's a prelude for me to tell you something. I just want to hear it from you.
Yeah. So let me ask. So I said Manchester United should go and get Kim Min-jae. I said
no. What I want is, what did we need? Forget the names. What did we need?
We needed 5 players. 5 players to go straight into that first team.
Hit me
5
with
players, because I was worried about the burnout. So I said we need to take out 5 or 6 players from last season who got burnt out. But rest of you, except for Jarvis, you Bumbaye was cheering it on, and Luani, I'm sure you were cheering it on as well. Going, Manchester United are back. We're going for trophies. Well, I was telling everybody and their nan that this is unsustainable. So I said, Manchester United, Jarvis was my witness. I said I need 5 players of a certain age and profile to go straight into that team to give us energy from the first game, the first training ground in preseason. That's what I wanted. 5 players. And what I wanted as well, Bumbaye, is to clear out the 13 players, the 10 and 3 players the club told us. So they were, the 6 highlights were McFred, Maguire, Donny van der Beek, right?
Go on.
Who else was on that list? Sancho, Martial. So there were the 6 highlights out of 13 players the club said they wanted to get rid of. And I said, you should go and get 5 players that go straight into that first team, not substitutes. 5 players that give the team energy for next season.
What are those positions? What are those positions? Is what I'm asking.
Positions
you.
Straight away.
What positions do we need? I remember you saying along the lines of 2 strikers, 2 midfielders, a centre back. Did you say a wing back as well?
I said I personally felt like we needed a right back, somebody who can play the way Tenhag wants to play.
Okay, so a right back.
Min-jae, a right back. I said a right back, and the guy that I wanted, Chelsea looked in and got him.
I don't want you to give me the names. No. Give me the positions.
Okay, so I said a centre half, a right back, yeah, a centre half and a right back, and then I said 2 centre midfielders and 1 striker,
and 1 striker.
But I said 2 strikers, 1 that you bring on the bench.
Okay.
But I said 5
No,
players that go straight into
Let me just put my last word. Sorry, before my last word.
What did we get?
So,
what did we get?
My last word, please. So, Manchester United, as is constructed as a team, right? There is fact, there is fiction, there is reality too. As we are constructed as a team, we are overpaying wages. Are we underachieving? Yes, we are underachieving.
For a decade, we are. For a decade. That's not a new story, bro.
Okay.
For a decade.
Okay, we are underachieving. Okay, we are not a family business. Ten Hag is not our cousin. Manchester United is a corporate. As the team is constructed and overachieving, he has to be accountable. He has to go. It's real life. It's simple.
Fair play.
Fair
play. Listen, Luani, fair play. You can have that opinion, but then also know the club you support, because for a decade, before even Ten Hag got here, Manchester United were failing and doing the same and paying the same high wages to players. So he ain't just Eric Ten Hag, is it? He ain't just Jose Mourinho, regardless how much I hate it. He weren't just Van Gaal. He weren't just Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was it?
Of course.
What's the common denominator?
But there's nothing wrong with sacking managers. Real has done that. Chelsea has done that. And
I'm sorry.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that.
Luani, I'm sorry. Chelsea under Ibrahimovic always bought good players. Chelsea new team now,
like we did.
No. Listen, Manchester. Listen, I'm telling you now, the pressure play for Manchester United and pressure play for Chelsea are totally 2 different things. Manchester United, that's what I said. My only solution is for the fan base like you to realize for a decade, nothing has worked, to try something radical. The radical thing is we don't sell 1 fucking player. We don't buy 1 fucking player, because managers who buy these players don't play them anyway. So what do? We get a coaches who coach the team. We get out all the cups, and then we wait for 2 years and give them 2 and 5 months. And after that, if they can't do it, sack them then. But
so we don't buy any players. We're gonna end up getting relegated.
I want to get relegated.
Football is played with money today, Nuruddin.
Luani, I want to get relegated. I believe the Glazers will go if we got relegated.
Dino, just to say to you, you mentioned there 5 or 6 players with the backup striker, bro. Yeah?
On a young striker, a developmental striker.
Yeah, okay. What I'm gonna ask you now is, okay, that's gonna cost a certain amount of money. Maybe we don't have the money. It's not cheap to go and get 5 top players to come in and hit the ground running into the team. So let's say we can get 3 of them and 2 decent ones. Listen to what I'm going to say.
No, Bumbaye, I knew what was coming. Jarvis will tell you this. I knew what was coming. That's why I demanded those 5 players go straight. I said we're going to struggle next season.
So I know that.
We burnt the players out.
Bro, what I'm asking you is, I'm making a different point, bro. What I'm trying to say is, if you know you need them players, but realistically you only can get maybe 3 of them, then you have to, as a manager, prioritize and say, right, which 3 do I need? He went and bought a keeper, bro, for 50 million. Yeah?
Yep.
He brought a striker. So he's making them decisions. Where am I gonna output the resource.
Bumbaye,
Do you get what I'm
came out
saying?
and explained it to you. Bumbaye,
If you keep Dave for another year, you have a different spend. You have to maybe you get another player in.
The manager explained to you. He said it's 50-50. Go ahead, Eski, quickly before we go.
I was going to say no. Dave had to go.
He signed 50%.
Yeah, no. I
can't
agree
be in
with
the
that.
dark like this, man. It don't make no sense. The manager's just in the dark. It don't make no sense.
No, that's what he said.
Mason
That's
Mount,
what he explained
65
in the press
million.
conference.
Can start a
He
derby.
said 50-50.
Anthony, 100
the
million.
club signed a player. Listen, the club signs a player, and I have last word of it. But the club signed a player 50%, and I signed a player 50%. That's what he said. Because he got accused of signing all these players because of his agent. A lot of the players share the same agent, so that's what he got accused of. And he said, no, the deal that we've got, the contract that I signed with the football club, is that 50% the club sign players, 50% I sign players. And then they were going in circles.
Say the same?
Say that again?
Didn't Ole Solskjaer confirm it? He said the same.
Ole the same. Ole
Okay,
the same.
we have $165 million worth of player on the bench today. Why Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans are our starting centre back? That's not the Glazers. That's on the manager.
They won the problem.
This is where we agree. This is where we agree.
Evans, we got him on the free because we didn't have money to buy Todibo or Kim Min-jae.
Or Pavard.
Yeah, or Pavard.
Yeah, we do get him on the free, but the manager choose to start him.
Yeah, but we needed a centre back, and they
What
wouldn't give
happened
him
to
any money.
Varane?
How is it on Eric Tenhag? It's
No,
not
look,
on him.
what happened to Varane?
There is an element of players at the moment having to come in that are not up to the standard because of injuries. This I empathize with. But for me, I remember Jose saying at the end of his first season, straight away in the last game of the season, he goes, I've already given them my shopping list. They know what I need.
Yes,
so
sir.
do you get what I'm saying? So they didn't back him, bro, 100%. But what I'm saying to you is
they didn't back Van Gaal either.
They didn't back Van Gaal the right way. For sure. I'm not telling you the club is great. What I'm saying to you is
they didn't back Ten Hag the second season either.
Bro, what I'm saying to you is managers are not just in the dark about this. There is a level of knowledge of what every signing is as an implication for the other signings, how it may affect it. It's not an endless stream of money or just, hey, here's a lucky dip. If you get Anthony for 80 million, maybe you can ask me for something else. Maybe you can't. No, Glazers, this is our first season. This is what we really need. What are we looking at here? These are the players I'd like. Van Gaal even said, I gave you option 1 and option 2, but you were getting me option 5. Do you get what I'm saying? So a manager and a club, even with the Glazers, there is a level of of overlap where he says, this is what I need. What can we do? Well, we can get this. We can get this. Maybe in January we can get this. It's not like you guys are making out. My man doesn't know nothing. He's in the dark. No. These are your players. No. You decided you wanted these players. You got these players. They're not performing. That's on you. You have to take some responsibility. Not all on Eric Tenhag, but that part, he has to take some responsibility.
I'm sorry, Bumbaye. That's too simplistic. That's so simplistic. To blame everything
Guys, my brothers, I have to go, man. I appreciate the invite. Thanks so much. Free Palestine. Glazer out.
Yeah, Glazers out. Pick up, Luani.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mundo. Before you say it, listen, before you say something, Mundo, let me just say this. At the end of the day, all managers in the second season struggle with signings at Manchester United. Everybody understands that and everybody knows that. But all of a sudden, Bumbaye, it's Eric Ten Hag out now. So now he's saying every manager, Jose, Van Gaal, everything else, they did what they did. But with Ten Hag, the club backed him. So now he should I agree with you in the part where the players that he signed specifically today in a team selection was shocking. It was absolutely disturbing. To see Bruno Fernandes on that right-hand side was shocking. When you've got an 80 million guy that you bought, that you wanted, on the right wing. To see Scott McTominay to fluke it, right, be fluking goals, to play instead of Mason Mount is laughable, absolutely laughable. So at the end of the day, those things are on him, but the club structure is on the Glazers. I'm sorry,
100%, 100%. Are the players he bought performing?
No, you made that point already. And
have they affected the quality of the football?
Go ahead, Mundo.
But let me just say one thing here, right? Because I want to draw a comparison between Van Gaal and the current manager.
It's a guy we
Van-
should never have
You
got rid
know
of.
when Van Gaal
I
says
agree
to
with you
me,
there, Bumbai.
you know when Van Gaal tells you the club didn't get me the players that I wanted. You can kind of, in hindsight, I think as a fan base, we should have been more patient with Van Gaal because
Facts.
100%.
because Van Gaal, and this is my issue with this manager. From the very beginning, I knew what Van Gaal was trying to do,
Yes.
right? And he had a style of play, even though it was boring as hell. But now I understand when you're playing guys like Borthwick Jackson and Tyler Blackett, and you've got to play flipping Paddy McNair in centre midfield at Stamford Bridge, right? Then he can complain because he's having to play Paddy McNair in centre midfield. But our manager, current manager, I haven't seen, other than one game against Tottenham at Old Trafford, I haven't seen his style of play at all, right? That's the first problem. The second problem is, yes, he can complain at the player that the board hasn't got him all the players that he wanted. But out of all the managers that have been at Old Trafford, right, he's got the players. He's had the best of all of them, in my view, right? He's had the most money. He's had more say in terms of the exact players that he wanted, right? So he has had actually a better, even though it's not perfect and it's not perfect at any club. And yes, the Glazers are a problem, and I'm sure there's many players that he's missed out on. He still had a pretty fair roll of the dice, in my view, in comparison to all the other managers, right? And the one thing I will say is this, is that if the team was playing a certain way, but we weren't getting over the line, then you can put that down to the quality of the personnel. So when I look at teams like Liverpool, right, who were playing a certain way, but were finishing 8th, even Arteta with Arsenal was finishing 8th, you could see it was because they weren't getting the level. They were playing a certain way, but they weren't getting a level of consistency because the players weren't good enough, or individual players were making individual errors, like the goalkeeper or a centre half was making a mistake. But that's not the reason why Man United are not performing. It's all 11, the whole team, the structure, everything about it is wrong. So
Mundo, I'm not going to lie to you.
I can't explain why.
Listen,
Right.
but Mundo, before I let us get in,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
because of the fatigue. Because he pushed them for 4 trophies last season. Players look out of form because there's no energy left. He played them into the ground. Eski, last word on the show quickly.
Last word is a bit of that, Nuruddin, and don't get me wrong, I'm wrong on that, or about the whole fatigue thing last season. You did say it. However, I think it's another thing. So his philosophy, same as Pep, right? It comes from the whole Cruyff total football thing. They're both derivatives of it, right? Pep Guardiola can't play this football at Burnley with them players. He can't. He needs a certain style of players. Eric Tenhag has managed where he's been at, all across Holland. So all of them are technical footballers. Bayern Munich B, right? Some top jobs with good footballers. Comes to Man United, I think he's caught the illusion that these guys are better technically than they actually are, and they're not. So then he's had to try and adjust his style, and we got through last season. He overachieved massively last season. Now, when a lot of them players are out, and you have to all right, what these players doing? They're just not good enough. When Ralph Rangnick says we need 10 players, what's he basically saying? This team's not good enough to play my style of football, which is a modern brand of football. Ten Hag's not too dissimilar. You need high energy, high pressing, high tempo. And when you go for 4 trophies, like you're saying, it just makes it worse. Makes it 10 times worse. Now you're getting battered all week and you just look shit. So for me, I think it's a combination of the two. The fatigue makes it worse, but I think he come here and thought, I've got some good technical players here. Rashford couldn't lace Mbappe's boots. He couldn't. He's not gifted like that. Like, do you know what I mean, Nuruddin? Do you know footballers like that've got it? Do you know what I mean? There's like who can I say that's got it? Mbappe's got it in the final third. Vinicius Junior's got it. Kvaratskhelia is a dream to watch. Bernardo Silva's got it. Football intelligence, one matter. We had it. Michael Carrick. Footballers that don't have to think. When you think too much as a footballer, right? That just shows me that you don't have it. It's not instinct, and you're not born with it. So Ten Hag's come in and says, "I'm going to play this fancy, technical style of football," but he's got players from the past that can't do it. So what do you do as a manager? Do you give in and cave, or do you leave? I think giving in and cave is just damning his reputation. If I was him, I'd walk, because his style of play can't be done with these players.
Big up.
So you think, Heskey, in a few transfer windows, we're going to get it right?
No. Listen, I'm just going to
It's not that simple.
Listen, I'm going to sum up. It's not just one thing that's wrong. All I want to remind you guys is that Ferguson in '86 came in when Ron Atkinson got sacked. Where did Fergie finish that season? I think 9th, if I'm not wrong. And then the season after that, he finished 11th or 13th. And then we started to he started to clear out so many players. The club backed him. It was that FA Cup goal by Mark Robbins. Manchester United win the FA Cup 1990. We never looked back since. So at the end of the day, under Fergie, it took Fergie 4 years. It took Klopp 4 years. It took Pep with the best sporting director, the best head of recruitment, best spine already at the club. Aguero, Fernandinho, company.
Yeah.
Who else was there?
Yeah.
Silva.
All them lot.
David Silva,
You know what
Sterling.
I mean? Yeah, Torre.
Yeah, but you're talking
Listen,
about
all
winning.
these
We're talking
guys.
about playing
Listen
good
to me.
football. How long has it taken? How long has it taken Eddie Howe? How long has it taken Unai Emery?
This is the thing, guys. You know what
No,
you're
Mundo,
missing?
I'm not gonna lie
What
to
you're
you.
missing
Listen,
about Mundo?
Mundo.
He's right in
Mundo.
the sense that you've shown me something to hang on to keep you.
Yeah, but at this
That's
moment in
all.
time, he's not showing it. He's not showing it, and a lot of you in the chat, and some of you on here are hypocrites because you were bagging this last season when I kept telling you it was shit. You were telling me I was negative, and I was telling you that it's unsustainable to play that style of football. I would have got out the Europa League, gave up on the League Cup, got the team in week on week out, training session after training session. Would have done that. Would have worked. I would have begged for players to leave. I would have pleaded with them and said, please, I don't need you. I don't want you. Leave. What do you think Van Gaal did? Van Gaal got rid of Van Persie, got rid of Johnny Evans, got rid of Danny Welbeck, got rid of all these players because he's like, listen, I want to have a style of play. These guys are not going to be able to play my style of play because they're at a certain age and they've been coached a certain way. So I rather have youngsters in the team who I can input this first contract, young players, input my ideas into, and over time they will improve. And that's the guy I regret. Bumbaye was 100% on the money and was right about him. And I was going to the stadium, and you know what? We went from Van Gaal, who I could see, everybody could see what we were trying to do. We went to fucking Jose, which made me lose my hair, people. Jose lost my hair. Ollie brought it back a little bit, and then Ollie went up and down, up and down. Ranieri comes in, tells the truth about the football club. We end up with Van Gaal, with Tenhag, and now he's in trouble, people. I think with his decisions like today, with his team selection, Jarvis, you have the last word. He is trying to sack himself. Go ahead, Jarvis. Last word on the show.
Let us know, Jarvis. Make a case for Tenhag. Make a case for Eric Tenhag for me. Okay. I'm the Glazers. I'm the boss here. I either sack or I keep him. Make a case for me to keep him.
Well, when it comes to
there's no in the world that you as Glazers are staying and Tenhag can stay. There's no world. There's no world. There's not that world.
No, seriously, this is how I thought of it. If I go into the Glazers and say, no, we got to keep him. All right, why? What are you giving me? I can't think of much, guys. I just can't. So if you make a case.
Listen, Jarvis, you don't have to do that.
Mumbai, when it comes to Tenhag, his style of play, because when he played at Ajax, his style of play was playing out from the back, and we had control over possession. We were good in positioning. We had movement. We created overloads on the sides, in the midfield, or wherever we were playing, and the team was compact, and we were really exploiting, the half spaces, the in betweens. There were technical players like Frankie de Jong and other good midfielders. Yeah, they could do the combination play needed, and when they lost the ball, they were really good at counter pressing. And we were playing on one side and vertical play and overload, so we had isolation for the wingers. That was what Tenhag was doing in Ajax, and they never conceded goals, and winning almost all the games. So the leap from going to Ajax to Manchester United, it's extremely it's a steep learning curve, and the players we have in our disposition at the club now, I don't see many of them have the capabilities playing this Ten Hag style. So it's like it's hard to judge him on his style of play when he don't have the tools to play it.
Jarvis, he said it at the beginning of the season. He says, I have to adapt to the players. I played the interview here. I played the audio version of it. The season before, the night before the season started, that's what he gave. He gave an interview to MUTV, and somebody sent it to me on Twitter, and I played it here on one of the shows. So there we go.
How come Donny van de Beek can't get a game? And can Onana and Casemiro and Anthony and Mason Mount and Hoyland play that football?
I don't think so because you
No,
need.
I'm asking Jarvis this question because of what he's saying. I'm not playing devil's advocate. I really want to know: am I missing something here?
At this moment in time, 2 players that he played at the back from. One of them was Luke Shaw.
Because
Right?
if you,
Shaw, well, listen,
Dino,
listen,
before you give me your answer, let me explain this
let
to
me
you.
finish, please, because we're
If you say if you say
right?
they can't play it, then I've got a question: has he abandoned his
They
principles?
can't. Johnny Evans,
Why are we
Harry
signing him?
Maguire, Scott
No, forget them.
McTominay,
I
Bruno
don't count.
Fernandes,
I don't count them.
Marcus Rashford.
The new
Those
ones
guys cannot play the Ten Hag style of football.
Bro, I'm asking about the new ones from your opinion. Can the new ones that he has signed?
I don't know yet because Martinez is not in the team. Luke Shaw's not in the team.
From the
And
quality
Varane
you know these
Varane,
players, right?
Casemiro. So listen, the trio that he relied on last season. Let me just make this point. The trio when he relied on last season was Varane, Martinez, and Casemiro.
Yeah.
They're the triangle that he played through the back. Luke Shaw on that side. They were the guys, and Juan Bissaka and Diego Dalot took in terms. One of them had the first part of the season. The second guy had the second part of the season. I'm sorry to say, but none of them can play the style of football, and he gave up on that. He became pragmatic.
Sure.
And
Don't forget that
that's why I was telling you lot, this is unsustainable, and I didn't want a shitty League Cup. I didn't want to be in the Europa League. What I wanted was good football and a manager to be doing his job, coaching a style of play. That's what I wanted. But that's the last word, people. We tried to break it down. Big up the therapy army. You've been wonderful. It's over 300 here with us tonight. It is what it is. There should be more likes. At least there should be 250. But I want to thank everybody who contributed tonight to tonight's show. Big up Mundo. Long time no see on here for people. We heard. I think everybody's been heard. We tried to come up with solutions to what next, where we go from here. And for me, there ain't no quick fix to Manchester United. There ain't no quick fix to Manchester United. There is never a quick fix to Manchester United. It's never easy. It's never easy. So it is what it is. For me, the biggest thing for me is that Manchester United do not have a plan, like they did with Oli, to come up with a manager that they want. They don't have that plan. It's going to be an interim manager, and that's what it's going to be. So you can find Jarvis Bowley77. You can also find Tom Journalist one on Twitter as well. Mighty Mundo will only ever, when the Glazers leave, you'll get him tweeting. He'll never tweets. Eski and Bumbaye both tied to this club. They've signed a 100-year contract with United Real Therapy. They're never on social media. You'll
with
never
pleasure.
Find them. You'll never find them. Never find them on social media. And it is what it is. That's where we go from, people. That guy, Red Devil, it comes across the screen. Like I said again, I repeat, this channel is being demonetized and we're shadow banned. So please, all you can do is share the link, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button because it lets you know when we're next live, because it's not even doing that now. That's how badly we are, because we stand up for the Palestinian people. We stand up for real human rights, not fake human rights, real human rights. And we want to stop genocide. So we say it with our chest and we say it out loud. I'm proud to say that we stand against warmongering. We stand against dehumanization and racism and colonization and occupation. And we stand for freedom. So end the occupation. Justice. There's no justice. There's no peace. And free Palestine. Stop the genocide in Gaza. Stop the genocide in Gaza. There you go. Pray for Palestine. Big up, John.
Big up, John.
There you go. Big up, love and light, people. There you go. There you go. Big up, love and light. Love and light. I'm not banned, but I've shadow banned. Shadow banned because I talk about the Palestinian cause here, bro. And they're not allowed for us to do that. So big up to everybody. Please, all you can do on your way out is like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Peace, love, light, out. Eric Tenhag, message from Therapy Army is play the players in their right positions and stop effing about. If not, you want the sack. Just like Jose did, you want that payout. Just like Oli did, you want that payout. Just like Van Gaal did, you want that payout. Just like Moyes did, you want that payout. That's the only thing what managers come to Manchester United, because they know they're going to get paid out. That's where we're at, people. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Fuck Zionism.
Fuck Zionism.
Peace.
Nice one, guys. Jumping off, man. See you next time.